And we're live, and we're ready. So everyone, we're back. The Elite of Wrestling is back. All four of us. Right now, I don't know what's going on with the other members, but it's whatevs. How are all you?
Whoever wants to start. I was waiting for y'all, but I'll start. I'm great. I hope you all are doing well, and shout out to the rest of the members of the Elite of Wrestling, whether you're working, watching sports, or taking care of your families, or enjoying your own form of wrestling. There's been a lot going on to think. Our previous episode was recorded just before Fight for the Fall and Extreme Rules and the Evolve 10th anniversary show, so I'm sure we got a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
I'm multitasking right now. I got a ball game on the TV in front of me. The Indians are still in the playoff hunt, so I'm watching that and hopefully not going to.
Is that the team you're rooting for?
What's that?
Is that the team you're rooting for?
They're Cleveland Indians. They're my hometown. So
there you go.
So yeah, I'm watching this ball game here and hopefully not going to explode during this podcast.
What's going on?
Excited for the upcoming fall of wrestling we got coming up starting this Wednesday with NXT and AEW on TNT, which we'll surely talk about, I'm sure.
Yes.
Night War is going to be like the heart of this, but I mean, man, there has been a lot going on. Eric, how you been, bro? What's up with you?
I've been good. I've been dealing with work-related stuff, but mostly because my boss is crazy, but that's a different matter.
Is that really different? I mean, whose boss is not crazy?
Does your boss get offended by clipboards and desks?
Oh, God.
How
Yeah, he's
do you get offended?
Yeah,
How did you get offended by a clipboard?
What? A clipboard and a desk? What? I've never heard that.
Ridiculous.
I mean, I haven't seen a clipboard in my own possession in probably since I was a teenager, but how do you get offended by one?
I don't know. I have no clue.
He prefers sitting at his desk in his office, but that's a different matter.
I use a clipboard, so I mean, it's very convenient to write on with a pad.
What do you want to start off talking about?
I mean, let's go.
Tell you what, hold on. Before we get into the bigwigs and all that jazz and all that, I want to, if I may, I want to start out by giving a shout out and a little pitch to the local, my local indie scene, like I finished with last week, just to get a little appetizer going on here because. I'll tell you what, when we finished last time, we were a few weeks out from AIW, Absolute Intense Wrestling, and here in Cleveland's big WrestleMania type show of the year. Right. And I'll tell you what, you guys probably saw my recap tweets of that in the day afterward. It was August 2nd. And my God, that was a phenomenal show. That was actually shown on Fight TV, too. They've been doing that a lot lately. Though I'll tell you what, people talk about, indie shows and smaller indie promotions, but the one thing that is AIW, if you're not familiar with it, is not your run-of-the-mill indie or small-time indie. I would actually call that like the middle ground, I guess, or like really close to the top of the ladder as far as indie shows. They've brought in a lot of stars in the past, and a lot of guys from that promotion have gone on to become big-time stars. Johnny Gargano being the star of NXT right now.
Candice LeRae.
Yeah, they're right. They all started in AIW, right?
They're
those guys. And then we have EC3 started there too, so he's local. So I'm just saying, if you follow AIW Wrestling, it's AI Wrestling on Twitter, and check that out if you can, because and listen to their podcast too if you have some time. It's some really great stuff, and you never know who from that promotion right now is going to show up next. We got at that big time show, Eddie Kingston wrestled for their King from TNA or Impact rather. He went and wrestled for their main title. He didn't win, but he still was in the main event. So that's big time promotion, and there's a lot of big time cult following in there. And as you saw on Twitter this week too, or Britt Baker, she started there too, and she's wrestling her very last match next Friday on their big time show.
That's her last independent match?
Yes, cool. It is. Before she goes all elite, that is going to be, because that was her that's where she started. I mean, she started in Pittsburgh, where she's from, but
Right.
AIW is where she really cut her teeth under the tutelage of Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. In fact, I don't know if you saw her tweets during those takeovers during the Gargano-Cole trilogy, but I was giving her a little bit of grief on that. I said, "You got your man versus your trainer. What are you doing? What are you gonna do?"
Wait, Gargano trained her?
Yes,
Yes.
That's crazy. That's
Gargano
actually
and
crazy.
Candice LeRae.
This is how
Couldn't
big
ask for two
Candice
better
LeRae.
trainers, in my opinion.
This is how big Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano are. You might as well call them Mr. and Mrs. NXT. And honestly, I hope Candice LeRae is an NXT lifer. I want more of her versus Io Shirai.
They are
And I cannot wait for that.
finally featuring her as one of the top females after a while. It's good
Absolutely. And now they're finally doing that versus just Johnny Gargano's wife. And AJ, to follow up on your point, as a member of Team IndieDQ, I support independent wrestling. I check out Extreme Chaos Wrestling, which is like a throwback to ECW, but it also still holds a little bit of wrestling and higher offense. And I go watch their shows every month. Extreme Chaos Wrestling, just look them up, Extreme Toledo. And they're actually making big waves too. They actually got a big-time contract where they'll be streaming and rebranding themselves as Chaos Wrestling starting next year, and they'll be on Facebook Live. And I've seen some great talents through there, including Ace Austin, as you know, current Impact Wrestling superstar. Other names to look out for, Jonte Keith, Jason Page. They've even brought in Sandman and Abyss at one point. So I completely respect that because, again, folks at our hearts, independent wrestling is why we're here. It's where it all began. Let's think about this. We look at, AEW. They have Aubrey Edwards, who is probably their best rep to date. Chris Jericho personally asked that she be the rep for their World Championship match, and they had a great angle, and she's been with Defy Wrestling, because I watch YouTubers like John Ritlin, Real Honesty. Go check him out. Funny stuff. Dorbinator, pretty funny. And she's doing major things, and she's about to be all elite. She's about to do her last indie show, too. It's really interesting when you think about how many people are going to all elite wrestling that have made such a tremendous impact on the independent scene.
Right, and speaking of Impact too, then we'll give a shout out to a couple more names there who are seen on Impact. Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, the current Impact Tag Team Wrestling Champions, were former AIW champions as well.
Speaking of Impact, do any of you know when Bound for Glory is?
It's the first weekend of October, first Sunday of October, I think. October.
That Impact's been killing it with their pay-per-views this year.
Yeah, in fact,
they really have.
In fact, who's the? I just saw this earlier. Michael Elgin is squaring off with who's that from New Japan that he's squaring off with?
Damn, I cannot say the name.
Tanahashi.
Marufuji.
Thank you, Marufuji. Yes, he called him out.
Okay, yeah, I missed Impact.
That's going to be a great match for sure.
I saw that.
Yeah, you know what? Let's face it, guys. We're not chronological. We talk about everything. So let's go ahead and talk about October. Let's call it the boom in wrestling. Let's think about this.
I call it the wrestling rebirth.
I agree with that. That's even better. We got the Wednesday Night War with NXT and AEW leading the front. But now you have all these other promotions basically trying to do the same thing. Some of them trying to merge with others. We got the NWA trying to bring their own TV series. We got Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling maybe becoming a partnership, still doing major things. And Impact Wrestling is moving to Access TV, the home of Women of Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, according to what I heard, they're only going to do like an hour-long show. So it's probably going to be like a highlight thing more. But that is still major. Now
I can access Impact because I have it on my cable channel.
Yeah, exactly, versus Twitch. And I'll say this. The world goes through social media. The world goes through the internet. If you want to get yourself out there, you got to make yourself known on the internet. So I think it's cool that they're making strides through Twitch. But let's face it, Pursuit's doing jack squat for them. But they need a bigger audience. So where do you go? A channel that respects wrestling. Access TV. They pulled it off.
So wait, did I hear you correct me if I'm wrong? Did I hear you right where you said that they're going to be scaling back on the TV series on Access? It's not going to be like a full 2-hour show, and it's not going to be actual shows like we see on right now. Is that? Did I hear you right?
Correct. They said they're going to do it prior to 8 o'clock, which I believe is the hours they show New Japan Pro Wrestling. As far as what I said
so Impact's TV series itself is still going to be on Twitch. Is that right?
And they're also going to still hold something on the Pursuit channel too. Correct.
I'm not a fan of that at
It's a
all. I
little
absolutely
weird,
hate
but-
Twitch.
It's a little weird, but at least with Access TV, they can try and grow their audience. That's a major start.
Hey,
yeah, well,
guys. We're gonna get a special guest coming in. I think you all know him.
Ooh.
Ooh.
who?
He's.
Who?
I'm making the call to him now.
Give us a hint. Is it Ethan?
No, sadly, he hasn't been on
not
Twitch.
Ethan. Who is it?
Take care, Ethan. Hope to see you soon. Who is it?
Talking
Who's
about
He's very he has his opinions regarding AEW. Like the reason why I brought him on board was because I wanted him to give this more objective viewpoint, because we're all hype for AEW, but he's offered some criticisms that I agree with. But it's Daryl Clip.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
I have a few criticisms as well. I've enjoyed it, but it's not perfect. Even I'll agree it's not perfect by any stretch.
Right now, I'm trying to see if I can get him in the meeting.
I'm curious as to how he feels about Cody getting.
Yeah, you should be able to add a person. So in the meantime, while we wait on him, let's go ahead and talk about what we've seen so far in wrestling, starting with what was that night. And could you call it really a battle? Because in my opinion, Fight for the Fallen won. Not just because it was for a natural cause, because I thought it was the better show. What was everyone's thoughts on Fight for the Fallen, and if you saw the Evolve 10th anniversary show?
I'll let you guys talk about this because unfortunately I was not able to watch either, and I still haven't gotten around to it.
Well, I haven't watched Evolve yet because I keep feeling this hint of disgust because, like, come on, like, Evolve's 10th anniversary, and it just happens finally decided by Vince after years of them asking for it. Hey, can we get on the network? Okay, let's finally get you on the network. We're gonna have you on the time that just happens to be Fight for the Fallen, a charity show.
Yeah, I watched Evolve later on the following week, and I will say this. I did enjoy Austin Theory versus BD Drake, their Evolve champion, combined with the other championship I forget the name of. I thought that Matt Riddle versus Drew Gulak was well done, and I did enjoy Kyoto versus Adam Cole to an extent. But Fight for the Fallen, wow, that was a long show, but I was enjoying, and I'll say right now, my match of the night, Kenny Omega versus CIMA.
I'll be real. That's probably the AEW show I like the least out of all four, to be honest.
Really?
That sounds to be like a general consensus from what I saw on Twitter recently.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Like, I heard it was not a great show.
Then,
well, when you got the concussion angle with the women's tag, and you got Ali versus Brandy Rose, that should have never freaking happened.
oh god,
that concussion.
Negative taste in your mouth.
That concussion thing wasn't an
the
angle. That was a
stuff
thing.
is-
Britt
and
had
that was a
really
thing.
got Britt really got her head bell rang there.
Yeah, by Bea Priestley.
and
Yeah.
the
Look at what
librarian
evolved
stuff
to,
is
which, of course,
terrible.
we'll get
I'm
to.
just saying, the librarian stuff is terrible.
Oh,
yeah,
god, yeah, I agree with that. I like Leva Bates, but my god, that librarian stuff is terrible.
She's a
As
con-
Jericho's,
I get it, but this librarian thing needs to end sooner than later.
Yeah.
I like Leva Bates better as Blue Pants.
Agree.
That's kind of sad to think about.
It is. It
I don't
is.
know, I thought it was fun when she was out with the vaudevillains coming out to the Price is Right theme.
Yeah.
I forgot about the vaudevillains. Speaking of them, I forgot they were in a team.
And Simon Gotch and Aiden English, former NXT Tag Team Champions as well. We have no idea what Gotch is doing, but we know what Aiden English is doing, at least for now. But again, we'll get to more on that later because we know there's major
Not
changes coming
wrestling.
to WWE
Yeah.
as a whole.
Most
But yeah.
I know about Gotch recently is when he completely buried Enzo Amore on his interview, his shoot
That
interview.
video always just pops up in my YouTube recommended. I'm sick of it.
Thank you. And let's not bring up that name. Freaking degenerate, but I digress.
Triple H shot down that rumor down of them.
Thank God.
NXT.
Yeah, when I
right.
heard that, I was like, oh, God, please tell me that that's not going to be true. Triple H, please dispute that.
Thank goodness he did. We heard it from the man himself.
Yeah, and he
And
wasted no
also
time
disputed
either.
Our biggest
No.
fear with NXT, which was Vince taking control.
And
Yeah, that too.
thankfully
I was
we're safe.
glad he disputed that.
Yeah, thankfully we're safe from that. And then, yeah, what else happened that weekend? Oh, yeah, Extreme Rules. That had to have been heavily influenced by Paul Heyman. Let's think about this. The Last Man Standing match where they went through that thing and Braun Strowman just comes out like the Kool-Aid Man bursting through a wall. We had Baron Corbin give the end of days to Becky Lynch, which probably was the moment of the night. And then you had Brock Lesnar come out and finally cash in his boombox, and Seth became champion. What was
Yeah,
the one for Roman?
also, guys, I can't seem to get Daryl in the group because for some reason he's still new to Skype apparently, so he won't be able to join us.
Well,
I wanted to hear
Next.
his thoughts on Cody because I know he's probably not too happy about Cody.
Yeah, I want.
Yeah,
So-
like he doesn't like Cody. Like he's told me about this. Like he said that he's not a fan of Cody Rhodes because of how apparently egotistical he's gotten. And how the fact that every single controversy that AEW gets all happens to relate to him.
Yeah, let's.
And Brandy as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's mostly Cody. Like, even Brandy seems to be annoyed with Cody's little attitude lately. Like, okay, like she was reportedly very pissed off at her husband because of the dog.
Yeah, the dog and the fireworks, and still trying to bring him out on stage. I was a little annoyed by that too. That was definitely one of my biggest negative notes of AEW all
Just
out.
one thing. Kenny Omega has stayed out of all that drama. Like, he's never involved with it. Like,
Thank God.
yeah, right. Even the Young Bucks are keeping their distance.
the Young Bucks have said some stuff lately. They have.
Yeah, and Tony Khan has even been
Has
saying a
been.
lot of stuff about this too.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody right now, I think Cody, right? Everyone's nervous with his antics, trying to be what some people call him Triple H 2.0.
Well,
And
I can see where people are coming from with that, but
Yeah. And you almost can think that Brandy Rose is getting a Stephanie McMahon complex from some fans.
listen, Jericho has to retain because the backlash if Cody won would be too bad. It'd be like really bad.
I don't see Jericho losing that title so soon.
I don't see Jericho losing that title before the year ends.
There, I'll go with that too. Yeah.
And remember, we got a defense of both the AEW Championship and the AEW Women's Championship after their premiere episode before 4th year.
Jericho's going to be the babyface in that match at Full Gear, in my opinion. I think he will, to be honest.
Yeah, and plus, you gotta remember, someone stole the title.
That was
But
ridiculous.
Jericho is basically a babyface just from that, getting that over with a little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly.
That's seriously become the best meme I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty
Jericho is the
amazing.
GOAT. Jericho is the
Jericho
GOAT.
got that, and he got the list over. What a legend.
Yeah, and once more, you got one, and plus he got Mitch the Plant over. We all know that, tragically.
Is there anything Jericho can't do? That's the question.
I could think of one, but I'm pretty
still
sure
yet
it'd be
to
too
win
the
controversial for
IWGP
you two.
Here's a
He's
fun
still yet
one.
to win
I
that
went
title.
to a Fozzy concert last year. I think it was like the
Lucky.
week. No, I went to a Fozzy concert the week either before or after WrestleMania last year, and while Jericho was bouncing around on stage, his pants started falling down. To the point, yeah. So yeah, he had a little fun with it there. He got on the mic and put over the ass of Jericho, and that seemed to get over too.
Oh God!
Oh, I know one thing Jericho can't put over:
What's that?
his current status in Brazil.
Huh?
What
What
about
the heck is
that?
that?
Okay, so a few years back.
Oh, no, I think I heard this story.
Yeah, he's not allowed back in Brazil after he stomped on the Brazilian flag.
Oh
He's got in a
no!
lot of trouble.
Oh,
That hurts.
that's a declaration
That was
of
not one of Jericho's
anti-nationality.
brightest moments.
Bad idea.
Well, then if I'm AEW, I'm not going to Brazil anytime soon.
Me neither.
Sometimes wrestlers don't know the proper way of getting heat.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all remember when JBL did the Nazi walk in Germany one time.
And a
Oh,
New
God.
Japan wrestler just called Will Ospreay autistic to get heat.
And he supports the whole Saudi Arabian thing, and WWE's driving the force behind bringing the world together and blah, blah, blah. But, moving on from that. Yeah,
And now, like, Halloween's going to be ruined because now it's going to be on the same day
oh,
As
God.
what?
as Blood Money.
Blood Money 3 is on Halloween?
Dude,
Yes.
I'm probably not even going to watch
That
show.
is a horrible treat.
Yeah.
What are we gonna have for Blood Money?
Yeah, I joked on saying, like, dude, I know Vince was about scaring us, but this is too much.
I
No!
actually have a prediction about that show.
Go for it.
I feel like Undertaker vs. Sting is going to happen at that show.
Yeah, wouldn't this be a bad time to tell you all that is now finally being considered by Vince?
I mean,
I knew it.
being that it's on Halloween, it completely makes sense all of a sudden.
I knew it. I freaking knew it. I knew they were gonna set up
They'll
Sting
be
versus
set up
Undertaker.
on the first SmackDown on Fox, I assume, because they're both going to be there.
Yes,
Oh, great.
exactly.
And now the one match people have been wanting for years and years is now going to be not watched by them because they have to decide: do I watch this match that's most likely going to suck because of the current status in life, or do I stick to my moral guns and not watch the Blood Money event?
Undertaker, they could have set it up on SmackDown, but they didn't.
Yeah. Jake, AJ, Eric, I'm on poll right now. I am not watching Blood Money 3. Period.
I didn't watch the last one, so I don't
Either.
even know if I'd watch this one. I mean, I didn't watch the last one mainly because I was at work, but
I was 100 miles outside the city on work, off-site, so there you go. But regardless, I refuse to watch this morally wrong show.
I just have no interest in watching Sting, unfortunately, look like he's going to break his neck.
Oh, yeah, and then Undertaker's going to get in Vince's face, be like, oh, whatever, you signed a lifetime contract, you knew what you were going to get into, blah, blah, blah.
Unfortunately.
Through a guilt trip. What a load of the devil. You literally did that.
And once more, okay, now let's get into the one topic everyone what happened on Raw or SmackDown. Why wasn't the Fiend a Austin and Taker?
Why? And then you got him in the dark match against the B team. Yes, why?
Yeah, when I heard, I was like, why? Why is he fighting the B team?
This pissed me off so bad. It was one of my most reactive tweets from Monday night. I was like, did anyone want the Fiend attack Stone Cold Steve Austin? But no, it's either Stone Cold does not want to put over the new guy, or we just don't believe the Fiend can do anything to Stone Cold. Who's really at fault here? Why did this not happen?
I don't know. It's over and done with. Frankly, I have no opinion on that. It's just I was upset at the time, and I've kind of gotten over it.
Yeah, I know, but still, I mean, we're just talking about it.
It would have been a cool moment. Like, imagine.
It would have.
No,
it probably would have rivaled Triple H's return from injury.
Oh, man, that is a hard moment to try and top there. Remember the crowds were so red hot back then, too? It's like the crowds aren't there anymore.
Oh, I've watched quite a bit of stuff in the past, or on the recently on the network, and thinking about how crazy how wild the crowds were. In fact, I watched a lot of early early Austin stuff from his early WWE runs before he broke his neck, and my God, could he go?
Yeah,
he was so good in the ring. And it got me thinking what his career could have been if had Austin or Owen not dumped him on his head.
Yeah. It's a dark memory when you think about it. So, what has everyone's thoughts so far on Paul Heyman's Raw? Do you think the product has gotten better overall?
Well, from what I'm gathering, it has been improving. Like, he's actually putting Cedric Alexander over big time.
He also supports Bobby Roode. So, maybe that means Bobby Roode will actually get a push now, even if it is as a tag champ again for the moment. I just want the glorious champion again.
I mean, I did hear Paul was trying to rehab Robert Roode. This makes sense.
Yeah, putting him as a team with Ziggler, I'm actually liking this so far.
They need a team name, not Rudolph. I hate that joke, and we need to do more with Bobby Roode besides being a tag team champion. The thing about
they could be like the WWE's version of Beer Money. That would be nice.
Or the Dirty Heels from TNA.
Yeah, they should win the titles tomorrow, and then they get like a team name, like they actually become an official team. Obviously.
Yeah. Get them a Titantron. Get them a single piece of music. What the hell has happened to WWE's music? You did this with Elias and Eric Rowan.
Why did they change Buddy Murphy's theme?
Yeah, I don't know. But guys, here's something I forgot to mention. There has been a shakeup in the music department.
Yeah, I was about to say the same
thing.
That CFO is gone?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Who's doing the music
CFO's gone, and I'm pretty sure Vince just and I was thinking to myself when I heard this, I was like, so Vince, how does it feel to not actually consider rehiring Jim Johnson now?
Yeah,
I think Jim Johnson's never gonna go back.
No, hell no, not now.
Who's doing AEW's themes? That has me curious.
I'm trying to get his name right. I think it's Mikey.
Good, Mikey.
Some of them have kind of been less than stellar, to be honest.
I do love Cody Rhodes' theme. Who sings that? Is that an actual legitimate song?
Yeah, that's Down Straight. And I feel like they do some of the music for AEW as well, especially in the video packages. And then you also have the guy that sung Adam Cole out for NXT TakeOver 25. I think he did the theme for Shawn Spears.
Yeah,
Josiah Williams?
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah, Shawn Spears' theme is a banger.
Yeah, and like everyone was wondering this. Why did Shawn Spears go over Cody?
I don't know.
I think maybe to keep Rhodes, what is that, undefeated, I think, in the singles matches to warrant his title match with Jericho.
Okay, well, let's talk about this. Wins and
Spears
losses
is facing
matter,
Moxley
right?
next, too, so Spears is probably about to be 0-2 in singles matches. Let's be real.
I'm actually looking at all AEW's records on cagematch.net. Cody's got 4 matches under his belt with 2 wins and 1 draw.
And 1 loss.
In a tag team match.
In a tag match, though. We're talking
Correct.
singles.
He lost that tag match against the Young Bucks back at Fight for the Fallen. And again, that match, it kind of was meh to me. Shawn Spears, he's had 3 matches with, looks like 1 win and 2 losses.
Kenny's 1-2 in singles matches, I think.
Yeah, and he also had that tag match, though, at Fight for the Fallen, where we got his new theme, and we started building the idea of him versus MJF. All I can say is Full Gear has to be setting up Cody versus MJF. MJF has to turn it.
I'm surprised.
At some point, yes.
I'm surprised Darby Allin didn't win that match at All Out, the triple threat.
Well, here's my figure on that.
I was surprised that Janela didn't, honestly.
I was not surprised.
Hey, I'm fine with Jimmy Havoc. He's cool. It's good to get him like a win before.
I figured Janela was the biggest name out of the 3 that he would win.
Yeah, and he finally got a win. I mean, he's had 4 matches as well. That's his first win. He's had 3 losses. I've been saying Jimmy Havoc needs to win this. Jimmy Havoc needs to win this. You need to look at Jimmy Havoc
versus Jimmy Havoc being a match on an AEW episode, and then Darby wins. I can see that.
We need a singles match between like Darby Allin or Jimmy Havoc in a wrestling capacity. We need to demonstrate AEW more for these deathmatch wrestlers than just hardcore wrestlers. That 6-man tag was a perfect example at Fight for the Fallen.
I'm like, it could be worse. I mean, like, they could go ahead and use C4 explosions like that one clip I showed you, Noah.
That reminds me too much of Wrestling Society X on MTV.
Jesus, what?
That was terrible.
Darby Allin doing the skateboard.
With the tacks on the bottom, that was brutal.
Darby
Allin. I was just wondering, I said this in my video. Like, I said this. Imagine if you got Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, Joey Janela, and Jimmy Havoc all in the same ring, and everything goes.
Jon Moxley for the win.
Yeah.
I would like to think.
I want to see a Darby Allin Jon Moxley match. Now that I think.
Hell yeah! I mean, we did see it on the independent scene. Now we need to see it in AEW.
Did you guys see who he challenged to a match in New Japan?
Oh, yeah, him.
He wants to fight Suzuki.
Yes, Kazunina Ray. I want that match. That should be at Wrestle Kingdom if they're not going to do Minoru Suzuki versus Jushin Thunder Liger. Oh, my God.
First Liger's got to be the Wrestle Kingdom match, don't you think?
It's got to be. Because, again, his agreement, contract, whatever you want to call it, it runs through till Wrestle Kingdom, through the Tokyo Dome. He's obviously going to be involved in a match.
Yeah.
And he'll probably drop the U.S. title to Juice at King of Pro Wrestling, if I'm correct.
I believe you are going to be correct, because I don't see them putting that U.S. title on Minoru Suzuki, although that would really surprise me.
Also, speaking of New Japan, we all heard the story of what was possibly, now looking back on it, was his biggest regret, not going to New Japan.
Who, Drew McIntyre?
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine if he went to New Japan instead of going back to WWE.
He'd be worse off now in the WWE if he done that, too.
And he's injured.
Oh, yeah, he had some surgery, that's right.
Yeah, he said he'll be back next week or so, but I don't know.
I heard an interesting rumor about Drew. You might want to hear. You see, the Fiend's popularity affected. He was supposed to win King of the Ring because how popular the Fiend's got. He's getting the title shot instead of Drew.
Huh.
Oh.
I didn't see that.
I still think they're pushing the Fiend way too soon for the title, because now you're setting up for a deadline to lose. Because we all know nobody has a long reign with the Universal title. It's more so been a curse to whoever's been holding it.
One thing we complain about with Vince is that he likes to strike too late, so I can get why he's trying to strike right away with the Fiend.
Yeah.
You tried that
Yeah.
with The Undertaker, though, and what happened when The Undertaker first debuted? He got a title
But
shot
I
within
but
the
I
first
can see
month,
we haven't
first
seen
year.
the Fiend wrestle like a full blown match. We can see if he can hang in like those long matches that he'll need to be
And-
consistent.
And I've said this several times on Twitter since The Fiend debuted. I'm curious as to how this will work because I just cannot get over and get my head into the process of thinking of The Fiend actually selling offense, especially with that mask.
Would he
that
have to
is
sell or
constant-
Hell in a Cell? I assume he would.
That's what I'm saying.
You obviously gotta make him look
He'd
little
have to
stupid.
sell for Seth Rollins, which wouldn't look too good. Let's
That's
be
what I'm
honest.
saying. You got
Yeah.
The Fiend in there wearing that gruesome mask that has that freaky smile, and he's in there taking bumps and selling offense. I can't take that seriously, honestly.
I mean, in the Finn
I see
Balor
The
match,
Fiend. I see The Fiend, and I think he should be like something like impervious to pain, like The Undertaker was when he first started out as the Dead Man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he should be no selling everything.
That's the question. I almost someone
That's
beat him.
why. That's why another thought that I had with a few other people is that perhaps maybe it would be good once in a while for Bray Wyatt to wrestle like himself, or wrestle as himself as Bray Wyatt occasionally, so that way he can actually lose like it makes sense. Whereas I
Here's
can't.
the-
I want to see Bray Rogers in the ring and see how.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Bray Wyatt gets in the ring in his Fred Rogers attire and wrestles that way as himself, and that way he'll actually lose a match and make it believable.
He'll be conflicted. He'll be talking to his gloves during the match at one point. He'll be like, okay, I'm causing this person pain. How can I stop the pain? Think
Yeah,
about
right.
the psychology you could bring here to the ring and to Bray Wyatt's different personality. If you have Bray Rogers in the ring at one point versus The Fiend, you get two different sides of Bray Wyatt.
That would be insane. That would be like
So
Mick
I
Foley
do have a
versus Mick Foley.
question.
What's your question, Eric?
What do you think would happen? What do you think they should do in an event that, like, okay, what happens during the match between Rollins and The Fiend? Because that's clearly where it's going to happen. What if Rollins decides to rip off the mask of The Fiend? What do you think what Bray Wyatt should do in that kind of event?
He'd snap, probably.
Run away and piss himself.
Well, it'd be like you literally ripped out the demon from Bray Wyatt, thus exposing his nakedness. That's
what I mean.
Or they could do what they did with Kane after he was forced to take off the mask. They just remove the heel part and just make him hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you feel my pain and stuff like that. Like when they
I
had to
figured-
remove the mask on Raw.
I
And
figured
then
he'd
he
just
went
run
after
away.
RVD and Shane McMahon. He threatened to put people on fire. He put JR on fire.
I figured Fiend
We
or
talked about
Wyatt
here-
would just cover his face and run away like a luchador.
Nah, because it's not a luchador thing, but I'm sure he would be conflicted. Jake, what's your thoughts?
What are we talking about?
If The Fiend got unmasked during Seth versus The Fiend at Hell in a Cell for the title.
Now that I think about it, yeah, the Fiend mask is kind of his anger. If it gets pulled away, it just becomes like the Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt, and he'd wouldn't be able to know how to fight. So
Yeah, it's almost like it reminds me of back to when Luke Gallows was doing his Festus gimmick, and you ring the bell, and all of a sudden he turns into a maniac.
if
Yeah.
they did that cell and he lost, that would be so dumb, honestly.
The bottom line is this, folks. We're going to have The Fiend as Universal Champion. You can only hope it's going to set up The Fiend versus the Demon for next year's WrestleMania.
And
Though I don't
Seth
think the
Rollins.
title's...
Actually, here's the thing. I've been advocating that maybe they should hold off him losing the title at SummerSlam just so we can get him a victory at WrestleMania finally.
And the Demon takes its first loss.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
the
In fact,
roster.
here's my idea. Here was my idea that I kept saying for a while. When people were saying we need to get Aleister Black in the Fiend, I was saying let's hold that off until SummerSlam. We do subtle hints towards that match. We build it up a bit, and then have the culmination finally happen at SummerSlam. Aleister Black defeats the Fiend and wins the Universal title.
I honestly feel like Aleister Black's next step, though, and this is just my opinion, I can see him becoming IC champ and beating Nakamura, which is why I believe Nakamura is going to retain the title tomorrow at Clash of Champions, and they're going to set up Aleister Black versus Nakamura for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, probably.
He needs something. His door's open. The man wants to fight, and this stupid gimmick right now is just going nowhere.
Vince forget about Aleister Black?
What?
Did Vince forget about Aleister?
Oh, you
Wouldn't
mean
be
like everybody else?
surprising.
Probably.
Well, I mean, he had that 30-second match on SmackDown against
Wow.
Shelton Benjamin.
Wow, the
That's
first
the
time
gold
out, Vince
standard.
forgetting about an NXT wrestler. Why am I not surprised?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Speaking of NXT, how about we go and address one elephant in the room? Io Shirai's trademark.
Who the
that's-
hell misspells a 2-letter name on a trademark?
Is she still going to be called Io Shirai? I'm confused.
She
yes,
is.
but
It's
apparently
just
she
a
can't
spell.
use the name anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know that wasn't her real name, actually.
Her real name is Lo.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I'm confused. Like, what is going on?
Anyway,
Yeah.
trademark screw up. Eric, go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, so there was a trademark that WWE applied, and Io Shirai's name was on the list. They even trademarked Sasha Banks' boss gimmick. Yeah. So
So
basically, if Io Shirai left the WWE and went back to Japan or went anywhere else, she can't use the name that she got over with in wrestling.
Wow.
But here's the thing, and this might actually favor Io Shirai. WWE, I don't know if it was an actual department or Vince himself, but instead of spelling out Io Shirai, they put L-O Shirai.
I mean, I can, to an extent, see how that mistake could be made, considering that the I is basically a cap or a lowercase L. But that, I mean, someone did flub up there, yes.
Yeah, but then you have to remember, why couldn't they just go on the internet or even, in fact, they have the network. They can just look it up.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that. How do you screw that up?
I have no words.
Yeah.
I'm flabbergasted by
But that also doesn't mean they can't actually trademark still Io Shirai, right? They can still reattempt it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
So
anything.
technically, one flub up is not going to
Speaking of
the pooch on that
NXT,
deal.
who's ready for NXT on USA 1 hour and then another hour on the network for some reason?
Okay,
Oh,
no,
it's because of Suits.
Wait, is that what's going on?
What is Suits? I don't know what Suits is. I've never
It's a
watched
reality show. It's a drama. Because
It's a drama show. What happened is that their contract with USA ends on September 25th, and by the time that everything is all said and done, they can do the full 2-hour shows on USA Network right on AEW's night.
Yeah, but I was reading something on PW Stream, and they're already saying that's a mistake because according to what I read, let's look at this first episode coming up, guys. It's almost like a takeover in itself. The street fight between Killian Dane and Matt Riddle, bro. It's going to be on the network. It's not going to be on USA. But apparently,
what will be on USA then? What's the big match you're doing for USA?
I'm guessing either the 4-way #1 contenders on the women's or Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong.
Wouldn't Velveteen versus Roddy be the main event?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm figuring. So they're not going to have Riddle and Dane on TV then? It's going to be. They actually said that's going to be on the network.
Correct.
Because I assume Roddy versus Dream is going to have a title change, and I think that would be the main event.
I mean, the Undisputed Era is going to fulfill their prophecy, and if that...
Oh, wait, you know what's going to be the first hour main event is going to be the tag team title match. The Street Profits are going for titles again.
I forgot about that match.
Oh, that's right. They got a rematch.
Yeah, so that'll be the first hour main event.
Yeah. And it'll be the last match Street Profits will probably
kick
involved in.
Hour, I assume.
The women's match will probably start the show.
Yeah, and that'll probably be the last Street Profits match we'll see in NXT. We can only hope they'll actually be wrestling going forward on either Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live, because the main roster needs all the tag teams it can get, because as far as I'm concerned, wrestling is...
I have a question for you all.
What?
What main roster guys would you like to see go back to NXT?
Okay, where do I start? Let's see. AOP, maybe, I don't know. Asuka. We get Asuka versus Io Shirai.
Sami Zayn.
EC3.
Kairi Sane.
I knew he was going to say Kairi Sane.
Kairi, Asuka, and Io could form a faction.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that would be fun.
Black Lotus Triad, kind of like Lucha Underground. Imagine those three as a heel faction in NXT. They would own the place.
Also, I'm happy they're incorporating 205 Live on NXT now. They're putting in front of a crowd that'll actually appreciate it. Finally.
Yes, and they'll also bring in the Cruiserweight title, and I hope it gets a redesign, because I gotta be honest, I'm tired of the purple leather.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Cruiserweight title defended on a takeover.
Me either.
That would be better than getting. That'd be better than getting 7 matches on a pre-show for a pay-per-view pre-show.
Like we can
Well,
get
and
Drew
usually
Gulak.
they don't do. they don't usually do, pre-show matches for takeovers. They just record the following NXT. So you would actually hope that this would mean the Cruiserweight title would be your opener to takeover.
So does that mean 205 Live's basically like kind of canceled now?
Probably.
That would make
Not
sense.
this show, but yeah, that's where it's going, it sounds like.
And that's fine because having 205 Live after SmackDown ends is kind of dumb.
Right.
Okay.
All those empty seats, man. The crowd's dead. They're there.
Yeah,
for
it's sad, really.
They don't care.
It depends on the city, though. I have heard some active crowds. You all know I watch 205 Live every week. I do a podcast on it. Hashtag 205 Live matters. Thank you. Anyway, the way I see it, it can only be a positive because you will be in front of a receptive crowd that respects the cruiserweights, that are always going to give them their energy and attention every week, and you'll raise the prestige of the cruiserweight title. But then again, I think about this. There's still rumor they're going to do SmackDown for 3 hours. How do you make up the difference?
Wait, SmackDown for 3 hours?
That's
You
rumor.
can't justify that on a Friday night.
Yeah, I'll pass. I'm not watching 3 hours of SmackDown on a Friday night. I can't do that.
And it says going to be
I can barely stay up to watch Impact from 10 to midnight.
Oh, yeah, guys. You want to know what I also heard?
What?
The commentary is going to be shifted around a bit. Michael Cole's going back to SmackDown.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Michael Cole and Corey Graves. They're going back to two-person teams.
What time does it start?
So who's taking...
Is AEW 9 to 11 or 8 to 10?
I think it's 9 to 11. Oh, it is 8 to 10? Okay, good.
Yeah, AEW is going to be 8 to 10 on Wednesday. It's the same exact time as NXT, but that 2-hour NXT will be available on the W Network the following day. So what do you think I'm doing?
That's fine. I'm watching AEW.
Exactly. In this day and age,
whichever show impresses me more over like this next month, that'll help me decide, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right now, you have a filling out process. You don't have to simulcast. It's actually more comfortable right now deciding which side you're going to lead on more. Why, the fans
however, for the debut show, I'm definitely watching AEW live, obviously.
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah, and I'll be at the show in physical form.
Lucky!
Bastard.
You're
you
so
bastard.
Damn it, Lucky! Get pictures. Lucky!
Anyway. And then I'll also be at full gear and have front row sheets.
Remind me if we ever meet in person, remind me to kick you in the nuts for that.
What do we think the main event of that show is going to be? Is it going to be the women's title?
Probably.
I've been begging Cody for the last 4 weeks to announce a date for Cleveland.
Yeah,
I just want a date for New York and New Jersey announced. I know it's coming, but just announce it already. I'm impatient.
The closest I have is Pittsburgh, which I technically could go to, but not on a Wednesday night. I can't make that.
Come to the Ohio, Michigan area during summer vacation or spring break for me so I can actually see this, because freaking college.
I can see Britt Baker versus Bea Priestley happening on that Pittsburgh show because that's Britt Baker's hometown.
Actually, I see that happening more at Full Gear, honestly, because we don't have a women's match yet. And obviously, these two, they want each other. There's blood. Then based on what I heard about backstage altercations, they might do Bea Priestley versus Sadie Gibbs. Y'all heard about that, right?
Oh, I did hear that, too.
I've heard Kenny Omega's been having a big hand in booking the women's division.
Good.
Exactly. Hence, Joshi Pro Wrestling involved.
That's why Riho's getting a title shot, which is good to see.
But Riho's not officially signed to AEW, so it's almost like you expect Nyla Rose to win. But then again, Ring of Honor, they have Mayu Iwatani, Stardom Star, be their Women of Honor world champion. I can see Riho win this.
It's the partnerships.
Yeah, I can see Riho actually winning this. In fact, I'm on point right now. I'm predicting Riho to become the first champion.
Well, I mean, yeah,
the Elite were signed to Ring of Honor, and they won plenty of New Japan titles. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible.
And when you look at it, too, Gail Kim was the first Knockouts champion instead of Awesome Kong. So, I mean, it's, like you said, not out of the realm of possibility that the smaller wrestler could shock the world and come away with an upset.
I honestly think they're going to pull the upset. I think Riho's going to win the title, honestly.
I mean, I did not expect Riho to beat Hikaru Shida, and I thought that match was very impressive, actually.
Honestly, I don't know where this match is gonna go. Like, here's the thing: if Riho wins, that's awesome. But if Nyla wins, you know what's gonna happen with some people on Twitter.
The Transformer community will go into
why is a man the first AEW Women's Champion?
Yeah, I don't
even want to go that way. I don't even want to hear that or talk about that.
I really don't. Those people.
That might cause them to panic and put the title on Rio because they know the backlash. If you know what I'm saying.
Oh, for
Yeah.
God's sake!
I mean, like, here's the thing. At work, there's this lady I met. She's a huge wrestling fan. She's been watching wrestling since, like at best Sergeant Slaughter's days as an Iraqi
That's nice.
sympathizer.
Nice.
So we were talking about wrestling, and then I told her what Vince almost tried to do with James Ellsworth, and she was disgusted by that.
Not surprised.
Oh, a lot of things Vince has done tried to do will disgust people. He
In fact,
wanted to do a storyline with Shane getting Stephanie pregnant,
Or
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
and he was the father of the baby.
Yeah.
God.
There you go.
In fact, here's the thing. You could say Vince has been crazy since the 90s, more so because you want to know what? Remember when Sergeant Slaughter was doing the whole Iraqi sympathizer thing with Saddam Hussein thing?
That's when I first
Yeah.
started watching wrestling, and
Remember
because I
when
was
he
8 years old
wanted to
then,
put
I didn't
Neville-
pay any.
Remember when he wanted to put Mighty Mouse
Yeah.
costume?
All right.
We're too.
Let's go ahead and talk about August. So, what was everyone's thoughts on NXT TakeOver Toronto 2? I thought it was a very good show. I went to see it live. I still think Io Shirai vs. Candice LeRae was my match of the weekend, and
I
truly
agree.
showed what
Oh, man,
Candice
I love
LeRae was
that.
capable of.
I was
Yeah.
so glad that the world
That
finally
was
got
an
to see
incredible
Candice LeRae
show.
go to town.
That was her best match by
Yes.
far since she signed to.
That was my favorite match. That was my favorite match of the weekend. And I saw Ring of Honor Summer Supercard in the ladder war between the Briscoes and God. Speaking
It's
of
kind of
which,
sad what Ring of Honor has
Listen.
become now.
Oh God! Listen. That show was good. All attendance aside.
yeah,
Which
don't
one?
remind me.
Ring of
Ring of
Honor,
Honor.
Summer Supercard.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, was
for Ring of Honor.
that? Was that
That
that same? That was the same. That was SummerSlam weekend too, right? That Friday night.
Yeah, I saw all three shows that weekend. Ring of Honor Summer Supercard, NXT TakeOver Toronto 2, and
Yeah.
WWE SummerSlam.
I'll tell you what, that was the first Ring of Honor show I've watched in a while, and I liked it mainly because I wanted to see Hot Sauce Tracy Williams get his title match, his TV title match, because that's another AIW former champion. He was one of my favorite wrestler, and I was so bummed when Ring of Honor signed him long term because that meant he had to drop the AIW title and leave. But yeah, that was a pretty good show too, I thought.
You know, despite the ticket sales, I will say this. You can definitely feel the passion coming from the crowd. That crowd was red hot that entire night, and I enjoyed being part of that. Third row, too.
Nice.
And I got to meet Marty Scurll. And I saw an impromptu match with him. That was awesome. Let's just go ahead and say it right now. Marty Scurll, his contract is up. Do you guys see him going to AEW?
Yeah.
I mean, he has that Bullet Club tie and the Elite tie, so I mean, perhaps.
It feels inevitable at this point.
Unless he goes back to, unless he goes back to June Japan or like full time.
But what would happen if he does go to NXT?
Oh, that'd be a game changer.
Small, wasted.
NXT actually respects small guys, though, AJ. You gotta keep that in mind. If they bring the
Okay.
Cruiserweight division in, they might do Marty Scurll versus Drew Gulak. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Oh, here's an idea. How about because since AEW takes all these shots at Vince McMahon and his booking philosophy, Triple H decides, hey, you know what? How about we reference how Marty Scurll conspired with certain friends from another company to kill Adam Cole, and now Adam Cole's out for revenge.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That'd be
Adam Cole versus
interesting.
Marty Scurll. There's some history right there, because he took his place in Bullet Club, thanks to Kenny Omega. I could see that.
That would probably be the closest to having an NXT versus AEW match with it not being AEW.
Yeah, exactly. Because we all know that's never going to happen. So let's go ahead and talk about New Japan, because you do bring up a point. We finally got our G1 done, and a number of things happened. Kota Ibushi, he won it. He's going to challenge the champ, whoever that might be, Okada at this point. But we also got a new member of Bullet Club, Kenta.
Yes.
And now he's the never openweight champion. What's everyone's thoughts on Kenta, part of Bullet Club? Did you see this coming from the start?
Well, I didn't see it coming. Like, I will be honest. I thought he was going back to Pro Wrestling Noah instead of New Japan, but I understood why he wanted to test himself in the A brand of Japan.
Yeah.
But to see him join Bullet Club, I was like, okay, I could have pictured him joining Bullet Club. I didn't think he would actually join up with them.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. I know people thought Ishii was a mole, for example, in Chaos, with how much he puts in the ring, but how much he loses. But yeah, I guess that's not the case. Kenta is now part of Bullet Club. Did not see that coming.
But the biggest surprise for me regarding New Japan was, like I said, Drew Galloway could have been.
Yeah, it still pisses me off that didn't happen. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the day of wrestling this year, August 31st. Did you all watch all 3 shows?
I watched 2 out of 3.
Shows, but not at the same time because that would be impossible.
Okay.
I watched NXT UK and I did watch All Out.
I went back and watched Royal Quest on demand because my fight stream was lagging a lot. So
yeah, I noticed there was issues with the fight when I was watching that. And AEW All Out.
I gave up and I watched TakeOver Cardiff and I didn't regret it because TakeOver Cardiff was an awesome show from top to bottom.
I feel like the last
main event
odd. With
Bro, you know what? I've seen some people criticizing that match. Surprisingly,
yeah,
they said it was too long. There were too many kickouts, and
I can see that. I can see that argument, honestly.
Wait,
yeah, well, I do see that argument, but at the same time, people probably. I don't be surprised if there are some people that say, "Oh, this match is too long. There's too many kickouts." By the way, I'm gonna have a long match in my WWE game because I like that.
it was fit. It was with the story they were telling. I think they worked the perfect match. It was excellent, in my opinion.
That was the best match of that entire weekend. Walter versus Tyler Bate. My God! And Triple H
Kind
said,
of reminded me of like a New Japan match with like the strong style spots they were doing with Bate, like kicking out at one and then.
And Nigel McGuinness drove it forward with his over-the-top commentary of how much he was in support of both men. Like, this is it, that's it, that's it.
Listen,
that was an incredible match. Triple H said top that. And then we got AEW All Out.
You can even make that argument for some of the Cole Gargano matches as well, as much as I love those matches.
I know. Yeah, I agree with that too. Just like, I don't know. For me, I maybe it's again the old school mentality. Considering I've been watching wrestling for about 30 years now. That the frequent kickouts when it would have ended a match 30 years ago is just. I'm understanding where people. I'm understanding where people are coming from.
But hey,
the frequent kickouts.
That's a minority though. Majority enjoyed what I saw.
Yeah. If I had to pick one match that felt a little flat on that card, I have to say, unfortunately, it was Kylie Rae versus Toni Storm.
Yeah, I think it was said Toni Storm got injured or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Oh, that explains it.
Something about Toni Storm's NXT UK run didn't feel right to me. I don't know why.
Her as champ, you mean?
Yeah, her run felt a little flat. I feel like now that looking back on it, they could have kept the belt on Rhea Ripley and I would have been okay with it looking back on it.
Yeah, but now we know what's next for Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm and Pete Dunne, apparently, as Triple H put out. They're all going to be involved in NXT.
NXT UK. I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest, but...
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to this feud. It looks like they're setting up now between Tegan Knox. Glad she's back at wrestling.
All they have is Imperium now for the men's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, here's the thing. If Triple H is able to get his way, we could probably get Cesaro and McIntyre on the UK brand.
I think NXT UK needs that right now. They need one of those guys or even both. Who knows?
I agree with that. I say both because Cesaro's been reduced to friggin' jobbing out and enhancement talent. WWE does not know what to do with this guy, and Drew McIntyre's been reduced to James Blackie.
They're the only two guys right now that I can see theoretically beating Walter.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Cesaro versus Dragunov and that 40-second Cesaro spin? That
was
Cesaro at his finest. That was one of Cesaro's best matches to date.
Here's another one here too. Another thing that I could see for NXT UK. Then once he gets through with his injury, when he recovers from his injury, what do you think about Sheamus joining on there? Since he doesn't have much to do on the main roster anymore.
I would love to see that. I would love to see the Bar actually in NXT UK challenge for the NXT UK Tag Team Championships, where tag team wrestling is more respected.
Well, in that case, you want to put Cesaro and Cassius Ohno back together then.
That's a tempting idea.
They were they were freaking huge in Ring of Honor.
And Evolve as well. Also, it looks like we're going to get a traditional British wrestling match, a British rounds match. I'm looking forward to that.
I saw that. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm curious.
It looks like it's a human chess game, basically, because it can be up to 6 rounds of 3 minutes, and it takes multiple decisions to win the match. No judges involved.
Well, hopefully, okay, no judges. That's perfect then, because otherwise it would remind me of that horrible championship they had in Impact for a spell.
Speaking of, so should we give our predictions now for Clash of Champions tomorrow? Like, talk about the paper.
I mean, we can do that a little bit. Let's go ahead, because we got, 11 titles? How many titles do you actually care about, first off?
I care about the women's division right now because the 4 horsewomen are carrying it on their back.
Yeah.
I care about the WWE titles. They're doing a good job with the Kofi Orton storyline.
Stupid! Continue.
No, let's not do that.
Yeah, that's it, to be honest. I really don't care about any of the other titles.
What about the most important title in all of WWE? The Roman Reigns title!
Don't say it. You had
to
say it.
Stop it.
What Roman Reigns title? I'm confused.
The fact he's on
the title that he has to be on the card despite not having a title.
Clash of Champions. Who is a champion in this match? Is there an invisible belt I don't know about?
Or what about that time when he main evented Backlash over the WWE title?
Does anyone
beat the traffic?
Does anyone even believe Roman has a shot of beating Roman? Any chance?
What?
Does anyone
over Roman? No, but stranger things have happened.
Hey, if they did,
Daniel Bryan versus Roman. I could see Daniel Bryan beating him, but they aren't doing that.
If they're actually building up Rowan good as like a monster heel, honestly, right now. But
that's why, and I said this when we were live tweeting SmackDown, that I thought that instead of having that pull-apart brawl, that massive brawl, I thought that Rowan should have just had a squash match even before that.
Rowan beat up that fan who looked like Tommaso Ciampa.
And don't even compare those two. They are a whole different level. Bottom line, Roman's going to win. And yeah, let's talk about the 4 horsemen. You bring up a very compelling point. The biggest highlight from the Madison Square Garden shows was probably the 4-way tag, 2-on-2 tag with the women. It seems like now WWE is really pushing and relying on the 4 horsewomen to drive the women's divisions together. And at one point, it was even rumored that all 4 of the horsewomen could main event WrestleMania next year. So what's everyone's thoughts so far on the 4 horsewomen really taking over the women's division now of WWE?
Listen, I don't see the women main eventing Mania anytime soon, to be honest. After Mania,
not even if it's a 4 corners match between all 4 of them.
All right, if it's all 4 of them, then yes, because those are the only women WWE values as main event talent. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Well, at least until Charlotte's horribly screwed over because of what Ric Flair's doing.
Oh yeah, that.
They're gonna screw over Charlotte after all the work they've done with her to build.
Oh please!
I don't think so.
It wouldn't surprise me though, because it's Vince McMahon. He has been petty about this from day one.
And the award for the most
wouldn't screw over Charlotte. They wouldn't screw over Charlotte. They have their perfect whipping boy in Andrade. They'd beat him up first.
That too.
Yeah, they'll both suffer though. That's the bottom line here though. Because
I don't see Charlotte getting screwed over because of Rick being a dumbass.
Oh, you want to know something else? Ric Flair is also said to be probably showing up on AEW TV soon.
Oh snap!
Well, that'll be fun.
I mean, Bret Hart did it. Was Vince mad?
Then he'll get Barry Windham on the horn, and they can reunite the original 4 horsemen.
Yeah, because you got Arn Anderson. I did not see that coming.
They got Arn Anderson. They got Tully Blanchard. If Flair shows up, he can bring Barry Windham with him, and they can have the original 4 horsemen.
And they got Dustin as like a player coach, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true.
I
love actually to see the original 4 horsemen on AEW TV to put the screws to Vince. That would be beautiful.
Me too.
Honestly, would not against Dustin challenging for the title down the line, like a redemption story.
So wait, you guys were actually surprised that Arn Anderson showed up? Because that was news, actually, that he was signed with the company.
I
did not see that coming.
Once they announced Tully Blanchard,
but I feel like Arn Anderson had to show up eventually. Yeah, I did not see that coming, but I had to imagine that
Cody thinks.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, from Day of Wrestling.
Cody thinks he's very. You know how Cody thinks he's very old school with how he likes to do matches.
Yeah, Cody has a different mentality with the way he does matches, it seems. I like to think that.
And I like that.
I like to think that it's
I
hard
like
to
it as
play,
well.
but it's
That's why
fine
Dustin
sometimes.
versus Cody
not-
is one of my favorite matches of the year.
What was?
Dustin versus Cody at Double or Nothing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That was the best
Couldn't-
match.
Yeah,
ever.
I mean, it could have done without the Muda scale blood, but or like
Yeah, that was a little overkill to
And
say
then
the
he
least.
was like whipping him Cody's belt. He was whipping Cody with his belt.
yeah, that I did. That was cool. I like the old school. I said, you're talking to a guy here who's been watching for roughly 30 years, so I know I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
AEW feels very old school with how they're doing things, to be honest.
Especially
would
having the referees have personalities.
Aubrey Edwards, hello. Just saying.
And they're putting a main focus on tag team wrestling. Look at how stacked their tag division is.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yes.
That is insane how well their tag
Got
division is.
Santana and Ortiz, one of my favorite teams from Impact.
They got LAX. I couldn't believe it.
You know,
Yeah, now they need to get the revival somehow next year.
FTR. Well, we can only hope for that, Eric. We can only hope.
But Vince will probably use some
Who are your
loophole in
guys'
his
picks to win the
contract.
title tournament for AEW? Who do you guys think will win the tag tournament?
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that. Tag
well,
team
do we all
tournament.
know who's in the tournament? How many teams are there? How many rounds, etc.? So
We don't know the full details yet. I do suspect that Lax, the Young Bucks, the Lucha Bros are involved because
That's
it's
Dark
Yeah.
kind of
Order, Best Friends,
SCU.
Private Party.
the Dark Order.
Yeah,
Private Party's facing the Young Bucks in the first round. That'll be good.
that's gonna be insane.
Jeez.
How great are
I don't know if I
Party?
can even put a prediction out there right now because that division, like we said, is loaded and we don't know what
I
the
can
brackets
see any
are.
of the
yet.
teams winning, to be honest. And I
Yeah,
think-
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, I would love a surprise moment where they have Private Party defeat the Young Bucks clean.
Bro,
That would be wild.
that would be
I'm a big fan
insane.
I'm a big fan of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus as a team.
They're actually the
That's
most
great.
popular
That's a great
merchandise
team.
sellers.
Those guys are great.
That's a
Yeah.
great big man, small man team.
Luchasaurus
Jurassic
is
Express.
amazing. He can do so much crazy shit for his size.
Yeah, it reminds me of Luke Harper.
Luchasaurus was
What
highlighted.
if
Bro,
Luchasaurus
man.
Luke Harper under that mask?
Oh
Imagine.
God. I mean, he's got a beard, so
Yeah, why not? Let's just go ahead and book that. Well, we know it's Andrew from Big Brother or whatever, because my friend Caitlin.
Speaking of Luke Harper, where the hell is he?
Oh, yeah,
He's doing
basically.
they're doing the same thing with him that Impact's doing with Killer Cross.
Oh, I feel bad for Killer Cross.
I do too.
But here's the thing. Luke Harper is being punished because he can't do a southern accent.
That's right.
Whereas Killer Cross is saying, I'm not going ahead and bleeding in the ring. I don't want to get infected.
Which is smart.
Yeah,
Because
right.
he
Which
is
is
that.
very smart because that's what ended Nigel McGuinness's career.
Exactly. Okay. Anyway, yeah, my day of wrestling, August 31st. I mean, top 3 matches. Walter versus Tyler Bate, Minoru Suzuki versus Okada. Because I'm
And-
Minoru Suzuki, Mark, I'll say it. And as far as AEW All Out goes, man, that's difficult because
In my opinion, it was Omega versus Pac.
Yes, I'll go
for
with
me-
that.
For me, I
Listen.
think it was Kenny Omega versus Pac because the ending was unexpected. And overall, I enjoyed that match. But let me ask you all this. It's 1 year, right? Was All Out better than All In your opinion?
Nah.
No.
I'll say no, but I still enjoyed All Out as a pay-per-view
Oh,
on its own.
that I'll agree with. I liked All In better because honestly, there was a wider variety of talent. Honestly.
I agree. All In
I
was a
hate when
better
people
show.
compare- I hate when people compare shows. Just enjoy them both for what they are.
Exactly.
That's my mentality.
That's true.
Like, you don't
Yeah, I
say,
mean,
"Oh,
we're all
this
just
was better.
fans here.
All Out was better.
we win.
No, this show was better.
Why is people so biased sometimes when it comes to wrestling? Oh, you only watch this. Oh, you're a WWE Mark. Oh, you are just watching
You're a
this.
new
Get yourself
fan
over.
bro.
Oh, remember when Baron Corbin was tweeting how we're all a bunch of dumb morons who liked the fact that Chris Jericho won the AEW title, even though there's a logical
Listen,
reasoning
it's
for it?
business.
Yes.
I've got when they put the title on Lesnar. It's for business. Same with Jericho.
Exactly.
Except,
Jericho's going to put over the company, not himself.
And plus, but Jericho works full time. Lesnar, what does he have an excuse to not work full time?
Lazy bastard. Lord forgive me. Anyway, you know what I fear?
Oh,
I
we got
fear that
that
I
should be
fear-
interesting.
I fear that they're going to put the WWE Championship on Brock Lesnar. I fear Orton's not going to win, but Orton's my pick to win tomorrow.
On Moxley versus Josh Barnett today. Oh, that would have been good.
Yes. Yes.
Moxley got hurt.
Speaking of which,
that was a bummer.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
That would have been a fight. That would have been a fight.
I mean, you want to see a fight or a match between those two. That's really what it comes down to. I just can't wait to hear John Moxley
versus Suzuki soon, and that'll be a fight, so I'm ready.
Oh, you best believe I'm ready for that. Like I said, I loved Minoru Suzuki versus Kazuchika Okada, okay? Minoru Suzuki is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, ever.
I want to see Suzuki versus Walter before I stop watching wrestling.
Yes, I mean, he fights in Rev Pro. Make it happen somehow. Special appearance. Make it happen. Speaking of which, Zack Sabre Jr., he lost the title to Hiroshi Tanahashi. I did not see that coming.
That's another guy I saw wrestle in person on more than one occasion in AIW.
Who's ZSJ or Tanahashi?
Zack Sabre Jr. is such a good wrestler. Holy cow.
He really is.
An incredible promo.
I had no idea who he was. I had no idea who he was when AIW brought him in to face Ethan Page, but my God, did they put on a sweet match, and I was sitting front row for it. It was fantastic.
It's scary what Zack Sabre Jr. can do to your body, though. That is scary.
Yeah. Guys, speaking of which, when you brought up Rev Pro, I was like, oh, wait, I just remembered something regarding that brand.
Oh, God, I did not want to talk about that situation. That guy.
Wait, what happened?
And he should be blackballed from the business.
Whoa. What happened?
Say what?
Okay, I know Jake doesn't want to talk about it, but since Noah and AJ don't seem to be aware of it, okay, what happened was one of the wrestlers went ahead and decided to take matters into his own hands and shot and took an attack on an actual referee, and this was...
I did see a clip of that. Holy crap.
Oh,
yeah,
that! Jesus. Whoa! Right to censor. Yeah, okay, moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, the referee is now forced to retire. He doesn't call it that, but he can't referee anymore.
Yeah,
you know what? I saw that because Ethan Page was going off about it on Twitter.
Yeah,
everybody was, and they should be.
And even Walter took a shot at him with the whole Kalima chest strike.
I've heard that guy's just a piece of shit for years now, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Moving on. Clash of Champions predictions. I'll just run down mine real quick, because you gotta imagine some titles have to change hands. Drew Gulak, Fire Desire, Rudin Ziggler, New Day, R-Truth, Roman, because you can't bet against Roman, AJ Nakamura, Becky Bayley, or Seth. Those are my predictions.
Damn, damn, man, you just ran right through that whole thing.
Isn't Charlotte, North Carolina, Cedric Alexander's hometown?
And Charlotte, hometown people are most unfavorable like this.
Wouldn't you want to give him the title in his hometown? As like
no. I mean, they threw Buddy Murphy a bone because they were in Australia, and when was the next time they're ever going to go to Australia? So
yeah, we don't even know that.
And usually in the U.S., home folks do not win.
I just hope Cedric versus AJ isn't a one-off. I hope Cedric wins the title eventually.
I could see Alexander pulling off something if, and this is just me being hopeful, that they would go back to Rollins versus Styles.
Let's pray to keep the OC
because I mean, they have Styles already sticking his nose in with the whole Styles or Rollins Strowman thing. So I would think that perhaps maybe they're looking to go back to that whenever they get the U.S. title off of Styles.
When I figure about
guys, I got an update regarding Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan.
Oh crap! What is it?
Because they realized that this match might not be good, and realize the significance of the fact that there's no title on the line unless you want to count Roman as a title now. They have now decided to make it a no disqualification match.
Oh, I saw that actually on. They actually announced it on SmackDown.
All right, that'll make it a better match. That'll make it better.
What?
That'll make it a better match, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They will make it a better match, and that's what I think Eric was getting at.
Yeah, that's what Eric was saying to it, and I agree. I mean, because at first this match, really, we're just having a match between these two. Crowd's gonna go to the bathroom and stroll. Now there's no disqualification, there might be a little more interest. And as far as Cedric versus Alexander or AJ versus Cedric, I hope it's a highlighted match of the night because these two can go. Now, as far as what you said about Braun and Seth, they're retconning, in my opinion, WrestleMania 23. They're trying to make these two seem as big as Cena and Shawn, and they're trying to make their title match seem as big as WrestleMania, neither of which come even close. And in my opinion, Braun is never going to be Universal Champion. They screwed him when they made Nicholas his tag team champion.
I'm just trying to figure out how they would actually go about having Rollins beat Strowman, though, considering the size difference.
Exactly. There's another thing.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they'll use the John Cena Big Show excuse.
Yeah, big FU out of nowhere. But we know.
What I'm saying, though, the thing is, though, they're not going to have Rollins pick Strowman up and hit an FU, though. So it's like,
No.
and
Or
we're not,
they'll probably use duct tape. Like
we
they
won't
do
even
with
be able to
Pasta.
see. We're not even going to see that superplex into a Falcon Arrow. Let's be
No,
honest.
not at all. Not one bit. Or a Spanish Fly. That would be something, but I highly doubt that would happen too.
Maybe Rollins just kicks Strowman in the nuts and then stomps him 3 times like he did to Lesnar.
What I'm hoping happens is the Fiend comes out and causes this match to go to a no contest, and we get a triple threat Hell in the Cell.
That'd be fine with me.
Yeah. Because obviously you're going to have this match close the show. It's got to. It's your freaking top
The
title.
thing about that, though, is you look at the card and how many schmaz endings are we going to end up having? Because if you look at the women's title matches, you can almost somewhat predict those, too.
Well, if Bayley's going to go full heel, she needs to wear all black, change her hair, and change her music. So I'm not expecting a lot.
We're not seeing the full-on heel Bayley yet. She's playing her delusional part perfectly right now, and I think
Like
that's
Bo
going
Dallas
to be a slow. That's going to be a slow burn.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it.
I would not be surprised if Orton and Kofi went to another non-finish to set up a stipulation match at like Hell in a Cell.
Please no.
How many non-finishes are we talking on this card? Holy cow!
I'm going to go with at least 2. And as far as the women's go,
Sasha and Becky having a non-finish.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So
I
right
don't
now
see
we're up to
Becky-
3.
I don't see Becky losing the title. She's the cover star to W2K20, and she's the man. I don't see Becky losing the title. I don't see Bayley losing the title. I honestly don't see either women's title
Taking the title off of Bayley right now would really put a hamper on her. I think she needs to hold on to the title since she's in the beginning stages of this heel turn. I think she needs a longer run now to kind of continue to cement that. Plus, I would love to see Becky Lynch against Bayley at Survivor Series if they're still doing that.
I'd have Bayley cheat to win against Charlotte.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds like they're trying to turn Charlotte face again, too, because if Bayley's turning heel, clearly you're going to want Charlotte face. But right now, Charlotte, the leader of the Selfish Generation. No, that's Bobby Roode. And you don't know who's really face or heel in this match.
Yeah, who knows what's going on with that, but I'm still rooting for Bayley. I still will for a while now.
I like Charlotte, but I'm rooting for Bayley as well.
Do you all want Sasha to become champion?
I'm just thinking taking the title off of Bayley now would just not, or like she'd have so much momentum, and that would put a cork in her momentum.
Do you think Sasha Banks should become champion right now?
Not in the first match, no. Like you were saying, maybe some type of schmaz finish.
Yeah.
Where you, I can see maybe a double count out.
Pushing this out to Hell in the Cell, because obviously this is not the first time these two are going to meet. So
like double count out, double disqualification type thing.
Yeah, something like that. All right, so
double disqualifications though. Going back to Raw from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
When what was it? When the War Raiders and the Good Brothers both got double DQ'd for brawling in the middle of the ring. I love that. That was so old school. They did that a lot when I was a kid watching wrestling, and I love that throwback.
I can't see the IC title changing hands.
Me either, especially since they just paired up him and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, his mouthpiece, before the wrestler.
If the Miz beats Nakamura, holy crap! Someone put a fork in me. I'm done.
Oh yes.
I'm not done. I'm just saying, someone throw a fork in my face because the Miz is a baby face. Oh my God, this is.
He needs to go heel. Anyway, Eric, you have a thought?
So there's a reason why they paired up Sami Zayn and Nakamura.
Why?
Because Nakamura don't speak English.
No, that would still continue Vince's racist rhetoric, but that's a different matter. No, the reason why they brought these two together is because, and I'm not kidding, they want to replicate the success of Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho.
What?
Who?
Yeah, that's their plan, to eventually split them up so they can do a match.
So what, you're going to make them best friends and bring a list back? How's that going to work?
Because Vince is a moron who can't come up with anything original nowadays.
They want Nakamura to be like the Kevin Owens in this partnership.
There's no parallels between the two whatsoever.
He can't even speak English. Exactly. How is that going to work?
There's nothing
Nakamura
here
can
that would
barely
make
speak
that work or
English. How
make
is that going to
sense.
work?
And plus, you got to remember this. The reason why it works so well, other than it being Kevin Owens, is because Chris Jericho is an established veteran. He could do whatever he wants. He could pitch ideas.
Exactly.
What can Nakamura
That's
and
why
Sami
that
Zayn
works
do?
so well.
They're just servants to Vince.
Yeah. That's why that works so well. He freaking got a list over. Just saying.
Seriously, Jericho. I mean, yes, Nakamura does have the charisma, but in a completely different way than Jericho does.
That's their capacity, basically, is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
but,
Nakamura does have the charisma, but not in the way Jericho does.
No.
Yeah, but that's their plan. They want to replicate the success of Owens and Jericho because, duplicating something that worked organically clearly has worked in the past. NWO, anybody?
Oh gosh, that.
Whatever. I mean, the pairing's working for me right now, so I'm not going to question it.
I mean, it's too soon to judge it, but again, there's no way I see Nakamura losing that IC title. I can see him blowing the Miz to retain it. So there you go. So let's go ahead and talk about NXT next week on a lighter note. So we got a loaded show, right? We got Roderick Strong versus Velveteen Dream. We got 4-way number 1 contenders. We got Matt Riddle versus Killian Dane. And we got a tag team title defense. What's the match everyone's looking forward to the most?
Now that she's been added to it, I'm waiting for the women's match and praying that they just didn't put Candice in the match to take the fall.
I figure that they're going to extend Candice versus Io Shirai, both of which are going to take out each other, which will leave the other two, which is Bianca Belair and Mia Yim. And I can honestly see them do
Io Shirai to win that match. So
sorry.
I want Io Shirai to win that match.
I agree, 100%.
I'm 100%.
I do not care to see Mia Yim challenging Shayna again. I just don't care.
I'm 100% behind Candice because Shayna's beaten the other three multiple times clean.
Give me Candice or Io.
Yeah, Candice or Io, because unless you're going to do Bianca Belair, sign off and go to the main roster, there's no point we've seen that match again, too.
I'm getting the feeling that we actually do see Mia Yim challenge again,
honestly,
even though it's one
anyone
match.
But Mia Yim, in my opinion.
What?
Shayna Baszler's beaten Bianca Belair twice. She's beaten Io Shirai 3 times now, I think. She hasn't beaten Candice yet in a long time, but I guess Mia Yim, has only gotten 1 shot, so maybe this whole thing was just a way to get Mia Yim another title shot.
No, I sense Candice LeRae will win this, and Io Shirai will cost her.
Okay, I can see that too.
Oh, by the way, did you see Johnny Gargano's tweet when he said he was staying in NXT?
Who?
Yeah, when he made the NXT in the air.
Yeah, but did you see what else he said on Twitter?
What else he say?
He said this. I made my choice. I poured my heart and soul into this brand for years. You think I'm going to leave now that everything I helped work towards is finally happening? Not a chance. The phrase going up is dead. We're the main roster now. We are NXT. And when you're NXT, you're NXT for life.
Did you guys hear Dave
I love
Meltzer
that.
Did you guys hear what Dave Meltzer said about NXT?
Oh, God. What did he say?
He said there's He said that there's way more people that are cooler on the AEW roster than Undisputed Era are, which makes no sense.
What?
Yeah, I heard that, and I was
I'm
like...
not exactly sure what the definition of cool is right now.
He says he's trying to say Marco Stunt is cooler than Undisputed Era.
Okay, the guy's delusional, but we already know how critical he is. Why do you think I don't believe in his star system? I believe in Eric's star system more than him.
It's clear Meltzer has bias, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, of
Possible
course.
Unpopular opinion here. I'm not a fan of Marco Stunt. I don't see the fan
appeal.
Yeah,
I don't see the appeal in him either.
14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Well, here.
Imagine if instead of Marco Stunt, they brought in Superhuman. You know, that guy who's been trashing himself as a stuntman?
No. Well, that would be funny, actually, but no, we don't need...
Sports product. We already have Orange Cassidy and Marco Stunt. We don't need to sign that guy.
We have the librarians, too. Don't forget that.
Here's a funny story about Marco Stunt. AIW brought him in Father's Day weekend to participate in their 2-night tournament. And that was broadcast on Fight. I was watching night 1 with 2 other buddies, and when Marco Stunt came out, my buddies who have never seen him before said, "Why am I watching a 14-year-old girl on this wrestling show?"
AJ, I just seen one of your unpopular opinions.
Which one?
About Undisputed Era. Oh no, I'm surprised you didn't get backlash for that tweet. To be honest.
What did he say?
Not a whole lot of people actually pay attention to me, honestly, or reply to my
He said he only
normal.
likes Undisputed Era's theme music, and then he doesn't really care for them besides that.
No,
Interesting. AJ.
honestly, no. I honestly, I'll say this. I liked when they did their breakup tease storyline better than this Draped in Gold storyline. Honestly,
Yeah,
was-
trying to be
I'm a- I'm a
Evolution
fan of
2.0.
the breakup
so-
storyline, the breakup tease was more interesting to me.
Listen.
So you're more so on the chase versus the actual holding. So basically, once you see all 4 holding, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah,
Listen,
pretty much.
Undisputed Era has been my favorite faction in WWE for a long time, so obviously I'll be happy. But opinions,
Agreed, Jake.
agree to
And
disagree.
Undisputed Era is my #1 favorite thing right now in the WWE product. I appreciate all 4 men, what
Keep
they
them in
bring to the ring,
NXT
what they are.
forever because I don't see Vince doing them well, to be honest.
Vince ruined them.
I didn't say they were bad wrestlers. They're not. I'm just saying they just. I don't know. It's just
You're
not.
tired of the gimmick. You're tired
Correct. I mean, and you can call this sour grapes too, but I just have
have your own
sour
opinion.
grapes right now that they took the titles off of Viking Raiders. I refuse to call them that. War Machine and Johnny Gargano.
Please
I've-
call,
you can call that
please
sour
War
grapes.
Raiders for War Machine, okay?
I
Let's
was-
pretend that name doesn't exist, okay? Just saying.
Wait,
So
what?
who do you all think's winning? Be honest with me, because everyone I know believes Velveteen Dream could be a Vince McMahon star waiting for Vince to take. Do you see Velveteen Dream holding the North American Championship, or do you see Roderick Strong fulfilling the prophecy and them setting up Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole?
That's one. I'll go with the latter on that one. That's probably what's going to happen.
Do the latter too because they have this big thing going on and they want to end the year off with this whole Evolution-esque posing with the titles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Velveteen Dreams held the North American title long enough. The Undisputed Era will fulfill their prophecy. It'll be like Evolution 2.0 again, and it'll be interesting to challenge all 4 of these guys for their titles, which I imagine would be at War Games if they don't do some interesting 4-on-4 War Games again. But think about this. NXT versus the War Games, they've done it twice now, and literally both times have involved the Undisputed Era. It's like the highlight of them.
Don't you remember what Undisputed Era want to challenge at War Games this year?
Imperium!
Imperium and who else would be in the match? Gallus, British Strong Style.
That'd be crazy. 3-way War Games again. Why
See,
not?
that's
Battle of the
okay. So
Brands.
there you go. If they want, that's to bring that up to another one of my points. Then, and you guys can challenge me on this too. That's fine. That's
Okay.
another thing that I'm not crazy about. Another reason why I'm not crazy about Undisputed Era. They're supposed to be heels. They are not doing anything of the sort, and they're getting cheers like there's nobody's business. So if
I'm
they're
assuming
supposed
you
to be
didn't like
heels,
Bullet Club. I'm assuming you didn't like Bullet Club either because of that.
I
'cause they
didn't
were
pay
heels and
attention
they
to Bullet
got
Club.
cheered everywhere.
I didn't pay attention to Bullet Club. I don't watch Ring of Honor. I don't watch New Japan. So
Right.
Bullet Club is Bullet
Actually,
Club.
not Bullet Club nowadays. They're like getting the desired reaction because Jay White is one of the most hated men in New Japan.
Yes, he is. He truly is a dastardly heel. So if you want to heel a full heat, go watch Jay White. Period.
That's why I'm saying Imperium is the perfect example of a heel stable because they actually do heelish things and they're ass kickers.
yeah.
I liked how Imperium didn't get involved in Walter Bate either. They just let Walter wrestle. They didn't have to get involved because they knew he'd win.
That was a
they
pure
felt
wrestling
no-
match, and they let their leader lead by example. Same thing with Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. Undisputed Era did not get involved with that at all. The leader leading by example. It seems almost perfect to set up Imperium versus Undisputed Era for War Games. I wouldn't mind that one bit.
Only if they actually do something to trigger a actual face turn for Undisputed Era, even though they're already getting cheered out the nose. So, I mean, I just, like I said, if they're supposed to be heels, make them do something heelish.
Well, the thing is, in NXT, whether you're heel or face, the crowd respects you because they respect independent wrestling. Again, going back to that. The only one that truly is classified, you can say, as a heel that gets booed is the person not classified as an independent wrestler, but more an MMA fighter, Shayna Baszler.
Or Tommaso
well-
Ciampa.
Well, for a short period, Eric, but then the crowd got behind him again. Just saying.
Right,
Yeah,
and
and
not,
I'm pretty sure-
here's, well, the Forgotten Sons have no problem getting heat.
Oh, I forgot about them.
Some get heat because actually no, they're good heels. It's just they don't interest me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You gotta be great in the ring, but you also gotta be an interesting character. Hence, Baron Corbin. Let's go ahead and talk about King of the Ring for a moment. How
I'll
bad
give
did
Baron
they
credit.
screw up this tournament?
Baron's improved. I'll give him credit.
I know I like Baron Corbin. I've liked him ever since he dropped it, or he lost the constable gimmick.
Yeah, he's no longer a waiter at
He's-
Applebee's.
I think he's
I
definitely
liked how
improved.
they went with an unpredictable finals and what they did with Gable and Corbin. I actually didn't mind that, to be honest.
No,
Yeah,
in fact, here's
interesting.
the interesting thing about this whole thing with Corbin being in the finals. Who did he beat? Let's see if that you interest or you catch the trend. The Miz, Cedric Alexander, and now Ricochet, and now Gable.
So they're
Who
going
did he-
back to Corbin's old gimmick that he's like the indie killer. He wants to beat all the indie guys.
Exactly.
Not only that, how big are those guys?
They're
Size.
all under 205.
They're all small dudes.
Corbin works
So
best.
Corbin's
with the
running
cruiserweight
over
division,
small
you know?
guys.
He works
Yep.
best with the small guys. They can like sell for him. He can like.
And that's great. I like that.
Yeah, I mean Corbin versus Alexander was a very impressive match.
I've
And
noticed
so-
they nowadays work better with smaller guys. I've noticed.
Sure, and why? And watch this. He'll come fly, and the dude comes flying out of nowhere. Boom! Big time deep six. Those little dudes take the deep six like they're killers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm reading WWE's website, by the way, AJ. Matt Riddle and Killian Dane to face off in a street fight on the second hour of NXT's live premiere on the WWE Network. So
Yeah,
who do y'all
Matt
in that?
definitely win that match.
Riddle probably win.
You think?
I kind of want Killian Dane to win.
I do.
know AJ
I want
is not
Killian Dane to
that
win.
Riddle
I do not like Matt Riddle at all. I would love to see him lose again. I loved when Killian Dane beat him clean. I'd love to see it happen again.
Either way, I'll be.
I'm
happy.
going with Killian Dane on this one too.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
That'll work.
Honestly, I want to see Matt Riddle when he is inevitably told to come to Raw. I want him to finally be the Beast Killer.
You want him to retire Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
That's another match I have no interest in seeing.
Well,
Only if it,
Honestly-
I'll watch that match if they put him in the octagon and let him fight that way.
I
AJ's
mean,
like the only person who wouldn't
Or
want to
five.
see that match. Well, everyone's praising how good it'll be.
well, it'll be like 8 minutes, but I mean, yeah.
No, I'd say put him in the octagon and let him go UFC rules.
I can see that happening. So, Triple H, again, he's trying to merge the three brands, right? Let's talk about the direction of WWE, okay? Starting with the three brands we really care about. NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live. It sounds like Triple H wants to bring all three of them together. I don't think that's a bad idea, but we already see what impact that's going to bring to the big four pay-per-views, starting with Royal Rumble next year. We're not getting a takeover. We're getting a Worlds Collide. Do you see this Worlds Collide being elevated as high as an NXT takeover? And would you want that going forward, at least with the Big Four?
Probably.
I'm just curious, though, how many takeovers Triple H wants to do. He said he wants to do more takeovers. How many takeovers he did this year? The additional 5 and 2 for the UK. So how's that come into play? Are you going to do more takeovers now besides the main pay-per-views?
Well,
Well,
actually,
they do
Triple
that-
H said he wants to do a 6-1.
So he just wants to do one more.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if they do that, it might kill them, or not kill, but affect the mystique or become oversaturated. Like for instance, like a lot of folks back when I was growing up, right? There were only 4 pay-per-views. The King of the Ring made 5, and eventually it became a pay-per-view every month. And there were some schools of thought that may not have been the best thing. So
yeah.
I wonder.
Like,
Right now we have a lot of
people-
quality. Right
yeah,
now we
like
have
a lot of
of
people
quality
can
with the
blame Eric
takeovers.
Bischoff for that.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff spearheading everything. Oh, yeah, let's talk about Eric Bischoff. We haven't talked about him. Has he done anything for SmackDown Live yet?
I don't think he's going to. from
I
what
feel like he's
hear.
just. Is he just like overseeing creative?
He's a figurehead for network dealings.
Yeah, I feel like that's his only reason he's under WWE, because he can talk to Fox executives.
Right, because he already has that experience with the Turner networks.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about now what we're really about. So we talked a little about AEW. We talked about the wins and losses. We talked about our thoughts on their tag team division. Let's go ahead and talk about the women more besides the women's titles. So they got a total of 10 women in their roster if you include Brandy Rose, which I think should just be some more of a behind-the-scenes type personality.
I feel like AEW's women's division won't take off until TNT starts because right now, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because we only have 3 weeks to go for that anyway.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's get excited. I mean, how about that Casino Battle Royale, the surprise participants? Would you like to see any of those women sign
AEW night for
AEW?
Sammy Guevara if he delivers against Cody, win or loss.
And he opens for that night too. I hope they eventually sign Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah, and imagine this. A pay-per-view event for AEW. Mercedes Martinez versus Tessa Blanchard. 75 women Iron Woman match once more for the women's title.
Oh, jeez.
Take my money.
They did say
my
Selena
freaking
has
money.
be interested.
Yes.
If the challenger loses at any time leading up to his title match in AEW, like the match could get changed.
Well, yeah.
Here, how about this though, guys? Here, Jake, Eric, Noah. I actually talked Noah into ordering next week the AIW show that's running next Friday because Britt Baker is facing Mercedes Martinez on that show.
Oh, okay.
That's
all you needed to say.
What say you guys? Can I talk you guys into ordering the fight feed?
I'm not really sure about that. Because I'm currently trying to finish some stuff up for over the weekend.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and right now
Britt Baker versus Mercedes Martinez is all you needed to say. And
enough said. As soon as I saw him, like, I'm in.
Fine, you guys can get your your first AIW taste then. Not only for Britt, but I guarantee you the entire card's going to be fun.
Mercedes Martinez would be good in AEW as part of their women's division.
Right. So
I love how she was the Joker. That was such an awesome surprise.
So I'll be able to see that match live and in person, front row. That's going to be so fantastic.
Nice, man.
That is assuming they actually give them some time to do something with.
Well,
honestly,
I'm sure
I wonder if they'll actually if they'll be forced to hold back because they don't want to be injured before they get to prime time.
That's a good point.
I hope not.
We did see what happened to Phoenix. He almost broke his leg, so
that was terrifying.
And not only that,
hell were those four thinking during that ladder match? That was insane.
Yeah, the Young Bucks talked about like they were getting calls from everyone like, "Are you okay? Never do that again." Like,
not only that, back in May, AIW brought both Pentagon in for their show, and he faced MJF, and God, that match was terrible too. There was like maybe It was like maybe 4.5 minutes long.
Well,
so literally those guys held back too.
There you go, AJ. There's your heel. There's a prime heel of the wrestling industry today, MJF.
God, I like that.
It's not
that
believable.
So good.
Seeing MJF get an offense on Pentagon wouldn't be believable for long stretches, to be honest.
Well, no, you're right about that, but
yeah, I don't even know what MJF. I don't know how MJF is going to really be forecast in AEW. He has yet to have a singles match.
Yeah,
listen. Right now,
I
feel like they're showcasing his strengths, which is his microphone skills, obviously. So I appreciate.
Oh, without doubt, he's one of the strongest promos in AEW.
Well, that's obvious, but I've been watching MJF. AIW has been booking MJF for 3 years now. That's where I first saw him too. Has he had
any good singles matches worth watching?
He's pretty good. Did you guys watched All In last year, right? He was in the opening match against Matt Cross, another AIW.
Yeah,
I don't know much about it, so I didn't really pay attention to it.
MJF and Matt Cross put on a sweet 10-minute match, but then again, Matt Cross is another all-around overall star too.
This platform he's gotten with AEW has helped me become more of a fan of his. MJF.
Yeah.
Now imagine if we got a promo battle between The Miz and MJF.
Oh
MJF
God,
fans.
that'd be wild.
Unless you got heel Miz from Talking Smack.
Oh, MJF and here I saw a promo battle in April between MJF and the franchise Shane Douglas. Imagine that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about one person we know is no longer All Elite, and wish her the best.
Not Kylie Ray.
No, not Kylie Ray. Let's not talk about that. You'll make me cry.
I'm sorry, but it kind of makes me sad. What happened to her?
She would have been the next Bayley. She would have been the next big women's babyface.
Yeah, no kidding. Eric,
frankly, I don't even know if we can talk about it much because we don't know what her story is.
I don't know why, but part of me thinks the role that Riho's in was meant for Kylie Ray before she,
I could see that.
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe
There's been no update regarding Kylie Ray. Like, they just said they want to keep it under wraps.
I've heard she has a story, though, but it's up to her whether she wants to tell it or not.
Yeah, well, all I'm going to say is Kylie Ray, all the best. Hope to see you wrestle again one day on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not gonna. I don't want to speculate honestly because we
I
don't
don't
know
want
what's
to
going
either.
on, and that's
I don't
not
want
fair
to
to
either.
her.
I don't want to either. Okay, let's go
I
ahead.
will say, however, that I'm very, very glad that I was able to see her wrestle live and in person too. AIW brought her in too a week
She
before
was good at Double or
WrestleMania.
Nothing. I got to enjoy that match of hers. But
Yeah, and I wanted to see her versus Britt Baker so badly after that.
I'll take yes.
That match is on YouTube. You can find that anywhere.
Yeah, I know. During
on
promotion,
YouTube.
though, I wanted to see what AEW could do with it and how
Oh,
well
that's true.
for shout. Because here's the thing: we know what a lot of these two are capable of against each other from the independent scene, but now they have a bigger platform and a bigger audience to showcase themselves too. It will not only evolve their in-ring chemistry and the dynamic and match you'll see, but it also will evolve both of them as wrestlers. That's what I hope to find from AEW. I want all of these incredible talents to really, really shine and give me something new and different. Change the world, right? That's what this is supposed to be about.
Yeah, and then you got also, and then there's also okay, so remember Triple Mania of Triple H promotion? They had this 7-women TLC match.
Yes.
And Tessa Blanchard won.
Speaking of Triple H, I did hear they have a show this weekend.
Yep, they got another show coming up.
Also, I do believe they canceled their Madison Square Garden show.
Not the arena itself, and apparently the main event is LAX versus the Lucha Bros. Sign me up.
Oh man, that's gonna happen in AEW.
So they're gonna just rekindle.
Triple H titles.
They're gonna rekindle their Impact rivalry, and Conan's gonna have another stroke.
Their match.
I don't think Conan is ever gonna jump ship because he's still an executive producer, I think.
Oh, I know, but that just seeing him flip out whenever LAX and the Lucha Brothers were mixing it up in Impact was just great stuff.
I completely agree.
Lucha Bros versus Lucha Bros versus LAX in that Full Metal Mayhem match was one of the best tag matches I've seen all year.
It was nuts.
Absolutely.
It was nuts for sure.
Agree, 100%.
Also, speaking of tag matches, what did you think of Dave Meltzer's statement of the Young Bucks and Lucha Bros have the greatest tag team ladder match he ever saw? And I was like,
I think that's debatable.
Honestly, whenever I see Dave Meltzer, I'm like, ignore.
Yeah, like when I heard that, I was like, so the TLC match at WrestleMania 17 doesn't count anymore.
As far as I'm concerned, that is the top ladder match of all time.
Once again, Dave Meltzer's bias. What can I say?
Yeah, I already know that.
I'll tell you what, guys. Here's my old school mentality again. I think I'm actually more a fan of just straightforward, pure wrestling matches than a lot of gimmick matches. So I'd love to see those two guys, actually, I'd like their didn't Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks have a straightforward tag match 2-on-2 before?
Yeah, Double or Nothing.
Yeah,
that's right. I like that match better than All Out.
Yeah, for the AAA titles. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I agree. When it comes to wrestling, I look more for straightforward wrestling matches versus gimmick matches.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, there was something I just remembered. So what do you think of all this intense, obsessive need to change what you're being a wrestling is? You know, like, you're a sports entertainer. No, you're a pure wrestling artist. No, you're a artist now and whatnot.
Performance artist.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, you're a wrestler.
I see stuff like that. I roll and brush it off and move on because there's really no use. There's really no point in dwelling on it.
Shake my head. SMH. As far as I'm concerned, you're in the ring. You're giving the crowd a show. You're doing what you love. You're a wrestler. Simple as that. You should not compare yourself as far as I'm got a bigger wallet than you. Challenge yourself to be a better wrestler than this other person I can get. It should just be about that. Period.
Yeah, I just was like, why is Vince's rhetoric of professional wrestling is the devil equivalent to basically what I keep comparing it to because how Vince seems to treat it?
I got nothing on that.
Yeah, like Roman said, I'm a performance fighter. I'm a performance artist, Bret Hart. Vince McMahon says, I'm a sports entertainer. Cesaro says, I'm a professional wrestler, and Vince loses his mind.
Because he knows that professional wrestler is the cancer to everything Vince McMahon believes.
That too.
So there you go. And yes, Cesaro is a professional wrestler. That's why he should be on NXT UK. Because guess what, folks? NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live. It's shows of professional wrestlers.
Yeah. Like imagine Cesaro left WWE and went to New Japan, though.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's pure wrestling right there. Why do you think I watch it again? AJ, I know you don't watch New Japan. If you get the opportunity, Minoru Suzuki, Kazuchika Okada, go watch it.
I'll tell you what, Access does show a lot of New Japan events apparently after the fact, which means I have the event with John Moxley and Juice Robinson still sitting in my DVR right now, which means I have to watch that ASAP before I cut my cable at the end of the month.
And if you can, find John Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii. That was the best match from the friggin' G1.
Okay, I'll see what I can do about that. Tell you what, guys, let's jump back to talking about women's wrestling really fast, because I have a question for you guys then.
All right.
If you can think back to before all of these women were signed, before AEW became a thing, before NXT started scooping up a whole bunch of women from the indies, and Impact as well then, who were your, quote, 4 horsewomen of the indie scene?
Oh, wow. Okay, let me figure out.
Okay, that's a tough one.
Yeah, because there's a lot of incredible
talent in the indie scene. Then, before you answer, then let me just give you mine then really fast, because right now all 4 of them are signed.
Go for it.
Tessa Blanchard, Britt Baker, Rachel Ellering, and Chelsea Green or Deonna Purrazzo. One of those 2. I couldn't decide between the 4th. It was one of those 2. All 4 of them are signed now. It's incredible.
I was going to say the women from All In were the 4 horsewomen of the independent wrestling women scene.
Yeah, because that was my favorite match of that show. I mean, all 4 of them brought it.
I could see Madison Rayne being in there, but I'll tell you why Rachel Ellering. I have seen about 10 matches between the combination of Britt Baker, Tessa Blanchard, and Rachel Ellering on YouTube from different promotions.
Yeah.
And my mind is blown watching every single one of them. It's gotten to the point where my dream match for women's wrestling is a triple threat between those 3. I have been begging. I was begging AIW for like a span of 2 years to try, since they already had Britt, to try and secure Tessa and Rachel for a triple threat match, and it just never came to be. And then Tessa got signed by Impact, and Rachel now is signed with NXT. And then Deonna Purrazzo is just, I've seen her work too, and she's just a straightforward master in the ring too, and she's only 23.
The virtuoso.
So that's what I'm saying. Those 4: Rachel Ellering, Tessa Blanchard, Britt Baker, and Deonna Purrazzo, although one can make a very strong case for Chelsea Green as well.
Okay, so I got to go with Tessa Blanchard first off. But as long as she's doing intergender stuff, I don't think we're going to see her in AEW anytime soon. Britt Baker, she's got to be one of my top tier picks to be AEW Women's Champion, and I cannot wait for Britt versus Bia. In fact, calling it now, I bet you they'll make that match for Full Gear. As far as my third, the hot mess, Chelsea Green, definitely hilarious, hands down. Her and Britt Baker were a former tag team, as you know. I believe it was like Fire and Ice, something like that. And as far as my 4th, Rachel Ellering is extremely impressive. But then I watch Stardom, so I know a lot about Japanese pro wrestling. And those women kick ass, no pun intended. And I've been a huge fan of Queen's Quest, or Queen's, whatever you call it, led by Momo Watabe. And she has been absolutely incredible. So I think just to add a little bit of international dynamics, I'm going to go with her, Momo Watabe. So my 4 are Tessa Blanchard, Britt Baker, Chelsea Green, and Momo Watabe.
Okay.
What about you, Eric?
Well, let's see. Tessa Blanchard certainly won. I was also going to say Mercedes Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. We got Britt Baker, and I was trying to remember and this was before she signed. It was going to be Io Shirai.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Io Shirai. I love this heel Io Shirai, man. This is one of my favorite things. That's probably my favorite thing in women right now going on in NXT. Just saying. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about all these shifts coming up. Let's start with the commentary. So it sounds like they're all going back to 2-person commentary booths, which I love. So we got Michael Cole and Corey Graves going to SmackDown Live.
Whoa!
Yeah, unfortunately. But you know what? At least it's 2 versus 3, so it might not be as cluster bleep. Who do you think should be on Raw with Vic Joseph?
Huh. I know Mauro Ranallo probably doesn't want to go back to the main roster, considering what happened last
I
time.
don't think that's ever going to happen.
From what I can tell, Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness have a nice dynamic.
Yeah, but Nigel McGuinness is focused primarily on NXT.
Well, that's true as well. If they're not going to put him on live TV, then I guess Byron Saxton's the odd man in.
No, I'd rather see Aiden English, to be honest with you. That's my opinion. Because Aiden English is incredible as a commentator. I think he's been doing a fantastic job. So now we got the 2-person teams allegedly of Vic and Aiden, Corey and Michael, Vic and Nigel in UK, and NXT is going to be the only 3 move, it still sounds like, with Beth, Nigel, and Mauro. I think out of those, I still would go with NXT.
So wait, who's on Raw?
Vic Joseph, and I'm guessing Aiden English. We have no idea who's going to be partnered with Vic.
So what happens to Renee Young then? Is she being cast back into interviewer status?
No, this is actually, I think, a good thing, because people bash her on commentary. Allegedly, her and Booker T are going to host a SmackDown-type talk show on Fox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, speaking of the Talking Smack thing,
I missed that.
guess what Miz revealed in an interview?
What?
He actually admits that when he looks back on that promo he cut on Daniel Bryan, he kind of says, I kind of don't like it.
I saw that.
Really?
Yeah, because apparently Miz did feel uncomfortable with what he was saying to Bryan. Like, he actually did expect Bryan to hit him for what he said, because he did not have a script. He was going off the rails with everything, and Bryan was deeply affected by what Miz said.
Well, I mean, Daniel Bryan, he loves wrestling. He speaks his mind. He believes Miz is not a great wrestler, and we can talk about that more in a moment if you want. And I gotta admit, that did make me feel uncomfortable, but it felt so organic, and it built towards something I was waiting for. Like, Daniel Bryan, one day I know you can come back. I want to see you face Miz one-on-one and punch him in the face, which we did get eventually. It just wasn't the way I was hoping it would be.
I was hoping it would be leading to Yeselmania 2.
Yeah, and honestly, that unscripted forum was one of the best things I saw in WWE. I was literally watching Talking Smack this past episodes with Daniel Bryan, Renee Young. You had John Cena on there. You had Dean Ambrose on there. You had The Miz on there, tirading him. And you just see Renee in the background, and Miz and Daniel Bryan, they're going at it. And Kevin Owens, the freaking wild horse on that show. That show was 100%.
I actually think Daniel Bryan was the wild horse, because I kept thinking, like, are you trying to get yourself fired? Because Bryan was clearly showing, like, he didn't give a damn working for WWE when he was retired.
Oh, absolutely not. Even as GM, you knew how much it was just eating at him.
Like, he was trying his best to, like, he was trying to do everything he could just to get under Vince's skin to get him to get fired. Like, he knew he was.
I think they even had a storyline on like that on Total Bellas or Total Divas or something like that.
Well, I don't watch that. So I
don't either, but I just heard about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, except this is legit, not a story.
Yeah. So I guess now, though, they're trying to go off that format of scripted promos. They're trying to go unscripted, hence the 4 Horsewomen promos. But AEW says they don't have writers. The wrestlers are the writers. So basically, they're unscripted, too. So
That's
it sounds
fine.
like
it's very ECW-like.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I'm hearing rumors that the USA Network is trying to force NXT to be heavily scripted.
That pisses me off, because they don't need that. NXT is the best brand in WWE today, and now they're actually being viewed as a brand versus development. So I knew this was going to happen, though. I knew as soon as NXT was going to USA would try and get involved.
Yeah, though, here's the thing. Even though everyone else is now seeing NXT as an official brand, Vince still seems to hate them, because remember, he had Michael Cole call NXT the, quote, little engine that could.
Well, that's because Vince can't accept the fact that Triple H can book a better product than he can.
Yeah, like, he doesn't even refer to NXT as a brand. He just looks at it still like it's this little tiny place, like, oh, it's just these little guys, they're not important. And I was like, dude, you are going to use NXT in your war against AEW, and you're still insulting them, and therefore driving casual viewers to think, well, if the owner of the company's saying that they suck, then why should I watch it?
Yeah, you don't care. Why should I, right? That's the whole mentality you're trying to teach us, right? What an odd idiot. I hope this XFL thing really gets him away from WWE. Triple H can be doing fine without him. We've seen it time and time again. Now NXT can match up and succeed, I believe. SmackDown Live and Raw. And I'll say that right now. Wednesday Night War, people. It's real and I can't wait for it. I'm not going to take a side. I'm just going to say we all win. Simple as that. And the fact that you have NXT UK, and 205 Live coming together now, it seems, as a super brand, hence Worlds Collide, that's even more phenomenal because we got the Cruiserweight title being added. You got Pete Dunne now in NXT. He had a great match with Angel Garza. You got Rhea Ripley now in NXT. They're obviously going to build towards her versus Shayna Baszler. And if anyone's going to take the title of Shayna Baszler, it's either going to be at this point Rhea Ripley or Candice LeRae, in my opinion. Because until that title comes off Shayna Baszler, she is not going in the main roster.
I'd honestly rather see Candice LeRae take the title and then Ripley goes back heel and takes it from her because I think Ripley's better as a heel.
I completely agree, and I hope that they keep this. And here's the thing. You're blurring the lines now between face versus heel mentality and wrestling matches now in these promotions. You had Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler, heel versus heel. If we have Io Shirai win this four-way, that's Shayna versus heel versus heel. You don't necessarily need face versus heel to have a great wrestling match and a simple story dynamic. It's been proven.
Well, that's true. We don't even know who's faces and heels mostly in AEW.
Exactly. Right now, you just know them as wrestlers. We're still developing characters. The number one thing you can look at as a heel right now, besides MJF's promo work, is Shawn Spears.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So going back to commentary, who is excited to see Tony Schiavone and JR back together again?
That was fun. It reminded me back to when I was a kid when I first started watching WCW because there they were. They were the voices of WCW in 1991.
Yeah, of course, there is something that is a little worrying about this dynamic.
What?
It's the fact that you notice during their commentary, during the more high-impact wrestling matches, you notice that they're trying to keep track of what the new wrestling moves the new kids are doing.
Well, that's because Tony and JR are still learning.
And that's why I made a point once recently about why they're hiring all of these broadcasters is if they did like a three-man table with Schiavone, Ross, and what the hell's his name? Damn it! Excalibur, yeah. If they did a three-man table, and any one of those three could take the lead on commentary depending on who's wrestling, and then the other guys can chime in.
It sounded like an AEW All Out. Excalibur took most of the lead commentary for the matches.
And that's fine, Alex. That's fine. Excalibur was great, but what I'm saying is, like, if someone like a Cody Rhodes is wrestling, then JR could take lead on commentary, so for that kind of thing. Or here's another thought too. Someone chimed in on. I'm not sure who it was, or maybe even you think about this, Eric. Is if they did like a Monday Nitro type thing where they have two different broadcast teams for each hour.
Yeah, you switch it in and out based on who's wrestling, and that way you got the commentator that's leading definitely tell you not only the in-ring action, but what's going on. It's clear that JR does not know everything about all these AEW people, but if you put in Cody, Dustin, or even Jon Moxley, you get pure and true JR. JR shined the most at Double or Nothing when Jon Moxley came out.
God, yes. And Chris Jericho as well. You can add that as well.
Yeah.
And so, and Excalibur is very Mike Tenay-like.
Yeah.
It really is. What's the thing, Eric?
Is that Jim Ross admitted in an interview, I didn't know Jon Moxley was going to be there.
Yeah.
Unpredictable. There you go.
That's like when he also said on his podcast, too, when Mick Foley went off Hell in a Cell. He didn't know that was going to happen either, so that was pure emotion from him, too.
Yeah, in fact, Jim Ross has said in the past that he prefers not being told certain things so he can make his more surprise reactions genuine.
Exactly.
There you go. And you want genuine reactions like that. So
which though I get the feeling that whole what he was trying to go with kind of led to Vince thinking like, oh, so I could bully him and he doesn't even need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like there were certain occasions, like remember, Jim Ross was never told he was being drafted to SmackDown, and he was pissed about that.
Yeah, you saw that when it happened that night.
And then, like, when John Laurinaitis fired him from Raw commentary, Jim Ross once again said, I was never told this.
Yeah. So, let's just shift gears a little bit here. Dakota Kai, she's finally coming back. Where you want her to go?
Europe, UK.
You want her NXT UK with Tegan Knox?
Yes, because I think I also think the NXT women's division can be a little bit oversaturated at some point. That's the other thing. I'm not crazy about the NXT UK quote invasion going on in regular NXT because I think some guys are going to get lost.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're going to see an invasion. I think it's just going to be, if you feel like you need to refresh, you're going to go between here. Like Triple H said, you could bounce between the 3 territories, even if NXT and 205 Live are going to be under the same roof. I mean, the only ones you got from the UK right now in NXT is just Pete Dunne and Rhea Ripley,
and then Tony Storm,
and the rumored Tony Storm showing up though, and that's again, this might just be me being a complete mark for my favorites, wanting to see them get their time, but I just don't want to see Candice LeRae get lost in this whole thing with the bigger stars coming in.
In fact, here's the thing about when I look at NXT UK.
Yeah. I mean, look at NXT UK. I mean, that women's division is probably the deepest in the WWE brands. But go ahead, Eric. What's your thought?
My theory about NXT UK was like, so is Triple H secretly building more brands so that he can delay the inevitable call-up to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown by having them go into the minor development brands and then come to the main NXT brand where he can have them for a while and then he has to eventually give them up to Vince?
Well, it depends on how many more territories you think he's going to set up, because you remember that business meeting, he's about global organization. We've heard rumors about NXT Canada, NXT Japan. I mean,
probably NXT Mexico.
Just focus on building the primary NXT product in NXT UK. You don't need any more.
Like, if they really were serious about doing a multi-NXT brand thing, at this point, if Triple H took over, he would have to rebrand the whole company as NXT and get rid of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
Well, that might not necessarily be a bad thing, considering I like NXT more than Raw and SmackDown Live, but I digress. I want to talk about AEW's concepts, though. The number one concept we've seen used is the Casino Battle Royale when it comes to their pay-per-views. I don't want this to be a standard going forward. I think you did enough with it. I don't think we need it again. I feel like the Casino Battle Royale has already ran its course. You did one for the men. You did one for the women. Both were kind of under-delivered and oversaturated, in my opinion, with these special one-offs. And even then, there's controversy about, OGB, she was never eliminated, so you got that backdraft to think about, too. Do you think the Casino Battle Royale should just go away?
Yeah, I kept thinking, I'm glad they were trying to innovate with the Battle Royale system, but I was like, they could have just stuck to the formula that worked for All In.
Yeah, which was just matches and just that. I mean, truth be told, that Battle Royale, I mean, what you did there with the whole, Ring of Honor and New Japan and all
Impact, NWA.
Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, that was fine, okay? That was like a battle of the brands. That was fun. But this right here was just a little ridiculous, in my opinion. I personally hope they don't do it again.
It was fun the first time around, I guess, but the second time around, and I can see why about this too. Is if you're throwing 5 women at a time in the match there, it kind of turned into a jumbled up mess. Well, mainly because you couldn't tell who was who at first, and if you have 5 women come in at one time, it kind of loses its luster for their entrances. Yes.
That's not really the problem I have. The problem I have is when you see the 5 women coming down to the ring, you're just I was wondering to myself, okay, so when are they going to actually, punch each other so they don't get in the ring?
Yeah, that makes sense too.
I mean, Britt Baker and Bria Priestley, they came out as different groups, but as soon as Britt saw Bia, she went right after her. I enjoyed that personally, because it stopped her from coming in the ring. But then you had the screen finish at the end where Bia cost Britt, pulling her out of the ring. Thus, now the Rose won. And
and then you got to also remember, I was surprised they got Priscilla Kelly on the show.
Well, I mean, he's Darby Allin's wife, right? So, I mean...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Darby Allin...
I didn't know that either, but is she the woman who did that whole thing with her crotch thing?
Yes.
And the vomit in Joey Janelle's pants.
Is that what that was? Okay.
Yes.
Enough said.
I was honestly suspecting WWE would hire her because, they love grossed out humor.
Okay, well, how about Scarlett Bordeaux? She went there for an NXT tryout. What do you see WWE doing with her if they hire her?
I have no idea.
They're gonna take the smoke show to another level.
we can't go back to the Attitude Era, though, AJ, no matter how much Vince wants it. They're a publicly traded company, and let's face it, WWE is for the kids.
Actually, Vince doesn't seem to like the Attitude Era.
Paul Heyman might actually think differently.
Maybe.
Honestly, I think Vince doesn't like the Attitude Era.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
you want to know what he referred to? Well, you want to know what he told his stock investors?
Blood and
Wait,
guts.
No, he didn't. He called it blood and guts, but this is what he said. He says that we will never go back to that, and I quote, blood and guts crap.
You know, we keep talking about blood and guts, and I was watching Talking Smack. John Moxley brought up the term, this place is about blood and guts. So this goes way back, apparently. But this kind of surprises me, considering, you know, Vince, he's an old, sadistic man who's out of touch with reality, and you would think you want the Attitude Era back for one thing and one thing only. Scantily clad women. Do you not remember the angles they pulled off at the hotel room? Alexa
Or Trish
Bliss,
Stratus.
Trish Stratus, Mandy Rose. It's clear Vince wants it back. He's just trying to be, you know, whoops, that's my freaking Echo Dot going off. Forgot about that. Dang it. Anyway.
Still trying. By Nathaniel Ridley. Starting now.
Alexa, shut up. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that.
When
That
you let
actually-
Alexa Bliss into your
other
house.
one.
That freaking Echo Dot went off when I said her name.
Yeah, I saw that coming. Like, I was like thinking to myself, at least we're not bringing up that other one's name.
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross just for a moment. In my opinion, this dynamic, it's got to be leading to a breakup angle. The two are going to face each other off one-on-one. I hate that they're doing the whole, don't be a bully, be a star anti-campaign. You're ugly, blah, blah, blah. I think it's stupid. Do you think Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross should separate? And should Nikki Cross go to NXT UK?
I like what they're
Honestly-
doing right now, actually. It's interesting. And it's actually find it interesting to see Mandy Rose and Alexa Bliss, two very vain blonde women on opposite sides.
Yeah, Vince's dream. He probably wants the two together. In my opinion, Sonya Deville and Nikki Cross should be together.
I think it's a very interesting match now when you think about it then, because I actually got a kick out of when Mandy Rose said, you'll never look like me, and Alexa Bliss screamed back at, nobody wants you. I thought that was a funny line.
Oh, okay, that's what they said. As soon as Shane McMahon came on TV, I muted my feed, so I didn't.
Oh, no, that
hear
was
it.
on Raw.
That was on Raw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Oh.
was during a tag match there. She screamed, you'll never look like me to Nikki, or
Oh,
look like me to Nikki
that
Cross.
match.
And Alexa Bliss screamed from the apron, nobody wants to. I got a kick out of that
Gotcha.
line, just for the fact that Alexa Bliss is the exact same type of vain blonde woman that Mandy Rose is.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember when Gail Kim joined WWE all those years ago?
Yeah,
Vince almost didn't hire her.
I know, I remember
I
that.
remember that.
Mainly because she's Asian.
Yeah, but then he was talked into it by Jim Ross to say, no, you gotta hire her because she's Asian and because men love porn
Yeah, because
sites.
And then Gail Kim wins the women's
Oh,
title on the very
yeah.
first night. She's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jim Ross had to compromise his belief of what wrestling should be in order to get Vince to stop being a racist for one night.
Yeah, for one
Wow.
night, he still is, by far. He's sadistic, he's just stereotypical, it's horrible. I don't want to get into debates like that, but, yeah. So,
Also, people were complaining about Roman Reigns having that 10-minute promo about the cancer charity events.
I'm
why
not
would
going
I
to complain
complain about
about that. Good for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
I mean,
people were complaining about
man.
that on Twitter. Like, you want to know what some sick sadistic you-know-what said?
Oh, here we go. Go ahead. I remember seeing this.
The Fiend how he wanted the Fiend to attack the children.
Oh, God, I saw something like that.
That is
was
sick.
dumb.
That is sick. I get it. You're tired of WWE doing it for the kids. You live in the past. You want the Attitude Era back. You don't necessarily want wrestling, but you want something that's more appealing to your age. Get with the times. This is a
Or you
serious
could just
thing.
go somewhere else.
Yeah, go somewhere else. Go watch something else. Go to WWE Network and watch ECW.
Or go to ZCW.
Yeah, you want that? Go to ZCW. That's a niche crowd in itself, a very unique niche crowd. Do not take it out on the kids when these are real people fighting for their lives, and WWE is actually trying to give you a little bit of human decency, consciousness, to be aware this is real, this is happening, this man actually went through it, and he supports these kids 100%. I do not have a problem personally with this. If I would say one thing, If you don't want it on TV, okay, I can kind of agree with that. Make it a YouTube exclusive, because what is most of the YouTube exclusives every week after Raw and SmackDown Live? Kids segments.
Yeah, and plus you gotta remember, people still remember Stephanie's favorite quote from her interview: "Philanthropy is the future of marketing."
Oh, for the love of Pete. She is so full of BS. You saw Britt Baker just look up at her.
I mean, if you think about it, it works for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and I mean, you want WWE to be more sports-oriented, right? So I guess, yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about that. WWE, they want to be more sports-oriented, right? They want to be SmackDown Live, be more sports-oriented because they're on Fox. So I guess that's why they're moving their A commentator, Michael Cole and Corey Graves, who will strictly now only be on SmackDown Live, to SmackDown Live. Not only that, though, they're proposing a full-fledged draft. So let's
and they're disbanding the wild card rule.
Yes, it should be the end of the wild card rule. Thank God. So let's just go ahead off the top of our heads and think about what should the first 5 draft picks be overall. 3 for Raw, because you know Raw's going to get more. 2 for SmackDown. Eric, who do you propose should be drafted first?
Well, actually, here's the thing. I'm hearing rumors that NXT might be part of the draft.
How many picks, though?
Probably 2 as well, because they're also 2 hours now.
Yeah, because they did involve, and 2016 was such a fun year. I missed the. We need GMs back personally. I miss general managers.
Well, then you just put Heyman and Bischoff back on TV. No, I'm okay with the authority figures staying off TV for a change. That's how wrestling was done in the past.
Or they could bring in authority figures who are unbiased. Like William Regal.
Yes, dude, Johnny.
Well, yeah, only put him on TV when it's absolutely necessary.
Exactly.
Like Regal's not on TV every week.
No, he was on TV every week.
No,
he's out the investigation.
Yeah, but he's really not technically on TV every week. And hell, Impact, you never see you never see the actual authority figures in an authority figure role on Impact. Like, sure, Don Callis, everyone knows he's heading up Impact, but he's sitting at the table being a commentator like Vince McMahon used to do before he was exposed.
Yeah, you got Scott D'Amore working backstage. You got Jimmy Jacobs working in creative.
Jimmy Jacobs is a backstage interviewer. Again, Vince McMahon type role before Vince McMahon was exposed. Same with Eric Bischoff.
WWE just signed their last backstage interviewer, finally, Mitchie McKenzie. She's going to be the next on-screen personality for WWE.
Oh, go figure. Another Impact name swiped. How soon until they sign Alicia Atout?
I don't think she's ever going to sign. She's doing her own thing. I mean, she did the thing for AEW.
I know. That was a rhetorical question. She's doing so well on her own. She doesn't need any type of big name or big promotions to do her thing.
Yeah, and think about that. Her and Chris Van Vliet, they're interviewing wrestlers outside WWE at all these cool.
Yeah, she's doing great.
I love it.
Doing great.
They're both doing great. Chris Van Vliet's now all elite, apparently, too.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, he's probably the best outside interviewer outside the realms on YouTube. I think I like his the best. His MJF one was stellar.
And then getting back to what we were mentioned about Tony Schiavone, though, really fast. At All Out, he was in a quote control center position, like he was in early years of WCW too. Yeah. And frankly, if that's all he did, I'd be fine with that too, because that's more a Sean Mooney type role.
How happy are you? How happy are you though that Alex Marvez is not on commentary?
I didn't even know anything about him when he first showed up. So, and frankly, I don't know. I just don't even remember his commentary now.
And people were holding a lot of slack against him, like calling moves and then recalling moves because he was incorrect. His suit jacket didn't fit him. There was a lot of biasness against him. I don't think he was that bad.
I don't know. I don't remember much about it now. I just know Excalibur's really good. It's nice to see JR back on TV in a different promotion. And Golden Boy I thought was pretty decent too.
I think Golden Boy is a major pickup for AEW commentary. I mean, he even brought up, I went from the World of Video Games to commentating wrestling. I mean, I thought he did a pretty good job as well. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about one of the most recent things that happened. Kevin Owens. You saw his tweet, right? Interesting numbers, right?
All that.
So Kevin Owens, I guess he's heading back to NXT. What do you see him doing?
We don't know for a fact. He could be blowing smoke screens.
What else could that represent, though? Let's be honest here.
Again, a smokescreen. He could be teasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
Hey, guys, I just got an update regarding what AEW has planned.
Oh, really?
Apparently, thanks to Dave Meltzer, basically the spokes PR person of AEW at this point.
Oh, jeez.
He and Tony Khan, yeah, they're actually talking. They said that Tony Khan wants to do on-set locations for AEW TV shows like WCW did in the 90s.
On-set locations?
You know, like the Mall of America, or when they had that big pool around the ring.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that. Okay.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that, like different themed times of the year. Like maybe they do it at a beach during the summer. Okay, I'm okay with that actually.
Yeah, I mean, if they went back to Daytona Beach and they had that pool around the ring, that'd be fun. As long as the NWO doesn't show up so they can get tossed in again.
Oh, don't worry. I'm pretty sure Darby Allin's going to try to do something crazy and suicidal with it.
Yeah, coffin drop. At least if he lands in water, it'll be the safest coffin drop he's ever taken.
Assuming he can swim.
Good point. Yeah. Okay, so Luke Harper. What does WWE need to do with this guy? Can he be part of the draft? Can we just bring him back on TV?
Well, here's an idea they could do. But remember how they keep saying Eric Rowan's working for himself? Why not just have Luke Harper be the accomplice?
Like Luke Harper comes out this Sunday and helps Eric Rowan win?
Am I the only one who thought that it looked like they gave Harper a massive makeover when they brought out that Rowan lookalike?
Oh gosh, that angle, that made me so mad. You probably are. I did not think of Luke Harper one bit.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I look at it a little bit further and the hairline and all that. I wonder if maybe they just gave Harper a massive makeover and nobody thought the wiser of it.
That would be interesting, to say the least, but highly unlikely in all likelihood, I believe. But
I was wondering, hey, imagine if WWE thought logically for once and decided to have Luke Harper be an accomplice with Eric Rowan.
Here's what I want to happen. Because again, Eric, retcon, we know WWE does this. What if Daniel Bryan is the guy behind this whole thing, but instead of revealing it on television, in the ring, single promo, they actually bring this out, if not tomorrow, the next pay-per-view, he comes out, maniacally stares Roman in the face, boom, Luke Harper. We have the trio finally of Daniel Bryan, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan.
That'd be wonderful.
Though, here's an interesting take if they went with that route.
What?
Imagine it. They have, at the Royal Rumble, they have The Fiend defend the Universal title against Bray Wyatt, and now he's the cult leader.
Oh, man. Whoa.
Wait, I'm sorry. Have The Fiend defend against what?
Defend against Daniel Bryan, who is now the new cult leader.
Okay.
Now that would be interesting dynamic.
It could be kind of a dichotomy and inverted role reversal. Like, remember, Bray Wyatt was the leader of a cult group, and now Bryan's the leader of a cult group, and now the Fiend is the hero of the story in this part.
Yeah, then the Fiends look as a face and like, what is going on here? This doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
I like that idea. So, Sarah, let's talk a little bit more about people who's been off TV for a while. Liv Morgan, she says she's going to come back real, right? Anyone have any idea what that means? Do you think she's coming back on the first SmackDown on Fox?
I don't know. I don't even know what real Liv Morgan means.
I don't know either, to be honest with you. What?
Yeah, I've been confused about that too.
Yeah. Can we put Sarah Logan with the War Raiders already and do something with her?
I mean, she's already traveling with them. I watched that episode of a Ride Along with the three of them. That was great stuff.
I mean, she's married to freaking one of them, so of course.
Yeah, and I was like, why not just have her be the new manager for the group?
Yeah, why not? I mean, and then she could get wild if someone gets involved. I mean, I like Sarah Logan's wild style, actually. I think it would be a great fit. I'm still waiting for her versus Nikki Cross one-on-one. That would be an interesting
I actually saw that. I saw them one-on-one on the indie scene before. That's another AIW match that put together.
Nikki Glenn Cross, her old name. Ruby Riott, she's out injured. What are they going to do with her when she comes back?
No idea. Oh, by the way, Triple H said something stupid.
Uh-oh.
I'm not kidding. Triple H said this. People will look at WWE the same way they look at Marvel and Disney.
What?
Please no, this is Triple H talking.
Are we sure nobody hacked his Twitter?
No, he said this in an interview, apparently.
What is it about WWE trying to be as big, if not bigger, than Marvel and Disney? Are you trying to be not only for the kids, but movie-oriented? That is the most ridiculous little crap I've ever heard. And now they're nominated for a People's Choice Award on the Entertainment Network. What is going on here? Is this wrestling or a reality show?
Yeah, I don't get it either, but like I was like, oh wait, AJ had to be right back.
No biggie. Yeah, he had a phone call. I mean, what are you trying to do here? I mean, I know that Disney and Marvel, they're already at a split with one of their characters. Yeah, we're going off topic. A split character with Spider-Man or something like that. So
Yeah.
you're going to copy Spider-Man under WWE? What's going on here? I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't get, like, it was already bad enough Stephanie said that because we're going to make more money than just like Disney does.
Yeah, that'll be the day. Disney's going to take over the world. They're going to take over TV.
Yeah, and imagine if they bought out WWE.
Well, it was nice while it lasted. God. The Donald Duck makes a cameo. Then WWE truly is for the kids. Ooh, that's a nightmare waiting to happen.
Yeah, and then you gotta remember, like, I don't get why Vince thinks that he could take on Disney. Like, I don't get that logic because Disney is a multimedia company. Vince is only known for one thing, wrestling. I'm like, yeah, they do books and movies, and occasionally a comic series, but no one cares about the movies or the books.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, Vince is the guy that's like, I'm a god. I can make anything happen. I can walk on water. So,
or how
who
Vince
knows?
thinks that he can make Saudi Arabia change its fundamental nature.
Oh, Lord. Stick a fork in me. Anyway, yeah, Kabuki Warriors need to go to NXT. Iconics, I want to see him in NXT UK, at least Peyton Royce. Authors of Pain, you want to build a tag team division? Bring those two guys back.
Oh, AJ, are you back?
Hey,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So we got all these nostalgic names, right? Going into the first SmackDown Live, celebrating SmackDown and its accomplishment and blah, blah, blah on Fox. Two names I think we won't see there. The Rock and John Cena. How bad do you think they want those two names? And why is WWE relying so much on nostalgia?
Because they realized that they failed at making big stars to try and rival the old names. Like everyone kept saying the same thing when they saw Stone Cold with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. It just felt like Stone Cold was bigger than them.
Well,
Even
no
if
one's
you
gonna
took
be more
away
over
the
than Stone Cold.
nostalgia.
Yeah, and the what chance came back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's one of the worst things ever. It's like, that chant needs to die.
Like, even Stone Cold admits he regretted making that.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what Stone Cold felt like hearing it while he was in the ring, and Seth Rollins even leading into it. Keep in mind, Seth Rollins was once against this. The only one that sold that segment was AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
after a little bit of time, I saw him taking the stunner as a good thing because he got a rub from Stone Cold, so there it was.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't buried, technically.
No, he got a rub from being in the same ring with Austin, so that's fine.
I guess I'm okay with that. So I wonder if Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling will become a thing, and will that mean better pay? Because aren't both companies kind of like at odds ends with not only their talent because of like pays and stuff like that, but overall like agreements and stuff? So how could the two of them coming together be a positive, I wonder?
Well, there is one major problem if Impact bought out Ring of Honor.
And what's that?
New Japan won't work with them.
And that's a
Yeah,
problem.
that's-
How?
Because
Other
New Japan kind of still hates Impact for how they treated the young Kazuchika Okada.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was horrible.
But
They'll
it's a
never let that
problem But it's a problem if the two merged because New Japan won't work with them. How exactly? Other than the fact that the New Japan is a boatload of awesome talent.
Because New Japan works with Ring of Honor, even though at this point they probably should consider leaving. But they've been like basically trying to make something work here, but like Impact's trying to mend the fence, but New Japan's not interested in it. Like, they even apologized to Okada. As far as I'm knowing, like, New Japan just does not want to risk having their talent have to go through what Impact did to Okada.
I honestly can't blame them for that. I mean, the past, but you don't want it to repeat. And I think right now, about it, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, they are done with each other. Think about it. The only ones we're seeing right now work with Ring of Honor is CMLL.
Yeah.
Even the NWA is going away from Ring of Honor because Billy Corgan is trying to start his own weekly TV show.
I hope so, because I'm getting tired of not seeing Eli Drake on my TV.
Dummy, yeah. I want to see him go against Nick Aldis. I want to see Camille in the ring. I want to see her challenge Allison Kay for the women's title. I want to see Allison Kay. Well, you know we're not going to see Santana Garrett. She's signed with NXT. So I am hoping for big things for the NWA, actually, too. But it's just so many things going on in wrestling right now, it's impossible to keep up with all of it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I can't really follow along as much with the Ring of Honor and New Japan, because there's just so much. And I think, Noah, you and I had talked about this before on Twitter. Yeah. There's so much wrestling and so little time.
Exactly. I mean, I find myself watching wrestling more on the bus rides than I do at home. When I'm at home, I just try and sleep or finally get on my PlayStation because there's just not enough time in the day. And being in college is even harder now, working full-time and dealing with all that homework. So there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the AEW Premier Show a little bit, because I know we already talked about the women's match. We believe Riho should win it. Jon Moxley, we feel like he's going to call out Kenny Omega, but he's going to probably get interrupted by Shawn Spears. Who do you think is going to be Chris Jericho's two mystery partners? It's got to be LAX.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be LAX too.
Who are they facing again?
The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega.
I would say LAX at this point, yes.
Now, who do you see winning that match?
Well, Chris Jericho is their world champion, and LAX is starting out, so I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, I could see that too. The thing that makes me wonder, I mean, yeah, that's right. LAX and Jericho, yeah, I could see them winning, probably, most likely.
Yeah.
Who do you see getting the pin, however?
Considering how Kenny Omega is trying to do this losing streak kind of mentality where he's transforming himself like Okada did in New Japan when he lost the title, we don't know how that worked out.
Yeah, I feel like Kenny Omega's not going to eat the ball here. It's going to set up LAX and the Young Bucks. I feel like one of the Young Bucks gets pinned by LAX via street sweeper.
Okay.
Also, I just found out, apparently Indy Hartwell has signed with WWE.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, it, either late last night or this morning.
Yeah.
Who did?
That's Tessa Blanchard's best friend, too.
Oh, wow.
Indy Hartwell, yeah.
Indy Hartwell, okay. I wonder what she's going to do. That'd be interesting. So, Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes, and that's going to be the opener of their show. Who do you see winning that?
That's obvious. Cody's winning that one. Cody's not losing.
Cody, I don't think you want Cody to win every match up to it. It just seems like oversaturated to me. I'm going with Sammy on this, actually. I'm going with a surprise upset. Wins and losses matter, but the talent should matter too. And I don't feel like the executive vice presidents, at least most of them, want to necessarily put themselves at the top. I feel like Cody...
Right, but being the first match of the first show, I mean, it's, quote, going the, quote, safe route, I suppose, even though there might be some backlash for it. And the fact that he is your number one contender currently, that he would win the first match of the first show on TV. I know Cody has come out and tweeted saying if you were to lose, that would definitely shake up the picture and might actually could be a factor in possibly unseating him as a contender going forward.
Yeah, that's what he said. And that actually gives me a vibe that they're trying to go for an unpredictable route. Here's the thing. I get the feeling like their idea is to do this where they announce the number one contender because of their win-loss record, but when they lose it, then since there's no contract officially signed to officiate that matchup, therefore it could switch around right before it happens.
That's an interesting point, but isn't that kind of like a bait and switch type thing that people hate in wrestling?
Yeah, except it could be worse. They could do a big show. They could do a pay-per-view event, and then not actually do the match they promised.
Let's hope AEW does not do that. But again, wins and losses matter, and you're right. There's no official contract, and if you have a bigger losing record later in the season, you're obviously going to get eliminated early or get changed out. So I can see that happening. Again, we already got both titles being defended before Full Gear, and we don't even know what the women's championship match is going to be for Full Gear. So there you go.
Which makes me wonder, though, because I said this too, right after they announced these two matches. Why are they announcing matches before or for Full Gear already when they haven't even debuted on TV yet? You would think that maybe they'd build up to those matches and then announce them.
Well, at least Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, I get.
Yeah, because that was supposed to happen at All Out, but it didn't, so they pushed it to the next pay-per-view.
Well, if anything, then I thought maybe they'd do a couple weeks of TV and build to it and then have the match announced on live TV.
I see what you mean. You're kind of like wondering, all these events, they already announced, okay, what cities they're going to, but not only that, they announced actual matches being placed on the shows, but you already got the pay-per-view matches too. You're okay more so with the matches for the TV shows, but you want the actual matches for the pay-per-view to be more planned out, not necessarily announced.
Yeah, that might be, again, more old school mentality, or even what we have currently on regular wrestling, because that's how it's done on normal wrestling TV that we currently have. So, I mean, I suppose I could see it both ways, but I know in a way it just makes more sense to actually have a little bit of TV shows under your belt and then announce it, because the pay-per-view's not till December anyway.
Well, the thing is, though, if you're already pushing ticket sales, you want to get that interest in there, too, so I can also see it from a marketing standpoint.
Okay, and that's the point that I can see, yes.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, look at what we got following the premiere episode. We got the Young Bucks versus Private Party and Shawn Spears versus Jon Moxley. You don't think the outcomes of those matches are going to reflect to what could happen at the pay-per-view? Just saying.
Yeah, I see the point. It's just, it was the first reaction and mentality, or first thought that I had seeing that.
And then October 16th is when both titles are getting their first defense, and we have no idea who could be involved in that.
Actually, I have a prediction about who might be fighting Jericho for the title.
And who would that be?
Well, if they're really going to stick to Cody Rhodes, they might as well bring in Dustin to be, the Shawn Michaels and get beaten down by Jericho like at the Great American Bash.
It sounds like a good plan.
I could actually see that. Yeah, brother versus brother.
Have Dustin beat up the big brother first, or have Jericho beat up the big brother first. Yeah.
And do it in a way that resembles Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels at Great American Bash 2008.
Yeah, I think Jericho and Rhodes, despite their ages, could actually have a decent match.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, you can imagine Jericho can keep up with Dustin, because let's face it, Jericho is a much more slower paced wrestler in the ring. So I feel like
it's a very methodical style given those two guys, and hopefully it'll be better than Triple H versus Batista.
Oy vey, don't remind me of that. That was I wouldn't say car wreck, but it could have been better. So yeah, right now, if I figure the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view card, I think it's going to be the following. I feel like Pac versus Page is absolutely inevitable. We already got Omega versus Moxley. We got Jericho versus Cody. At this time, can it change? I'm debating on that. And I feel like they're going to do Britt Baker versus Bea Priestley. And then I feel like MJF's finally going to have a singles match, too.
Maybe against Spears.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They could build that all the way out. Do you all see any other matches potentially right now happening, like a tag team title match? And if so, who?
Well, there is the Bucks versus LAX. Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, do they go to that right away then? That's something they could build to over the course of a year.
True, and you also got Lucha Brothers out in the shadows right now. Because remember, LAX attacked both teams.
That's true as well.
So there's that. Okay, let's go back to Impact Wrestling. We already know Tessa Blanchard. She's involved in this intergender feud where I think it's leading to a lethal lockdown match between OVE and the ECW originals, and her leading the front, okay? She's leading her own legacy, her own destiny. Good on her. But we also know that we got Brian Cage, their champ. He's facing Sami Callihan for the title. Do you finally see Sami Callihan ascending as the top guy in Impact Wrestling?
Yeah.
Here's a question really fast then. If you're looking at Tessa and the ECW originals versus OVE and like the lockdown, then why, and Sami's not involved in that if he's already fighting for the world title?
If they do it the same night, then yes, you're correct. Then again, we got Victory Road before Bound for Glory, and something could happen at that.
So it makes me wonder, though, who Tessa would be facing one-on-one at Bound for Glory.
Tenille Dashwood.
Yeah, I have to imagine Tenille Dashwood, because
I thought that she would be facing Taya Valkyrie.
Nah, I don't think they're gonna do that. I feel like Taya Valkyrie right now is kind of just out of place. If anyone's gonna face Taya Valkyrie, I can see it being Jordan Grace.
Well, here's the thing: we're only 4 weeks away from Bound for Glory, or roughly a month away from Bound for Glory, and Tessa's still fighting men. They're gonna have to get her away from that and back into the Knockouts division ASAP to build for a quality match.
Unless they somehow do a major swerve and she's added to the championship match and we get a triple threat.
That you read my mind. That was another thought that I had right as I finished that sentence. I think they might actually do that now that I think about it. But only she still isn't going to win, and that's where she slides back into the Knockouts division.
Well, I mean, let's see. Bound for Glory happens October 20th. Impact will begin airing on Access immediately after Bound for Glory. So obviously things have to change by that time. So we'll see. I mean, we already know we got one match made official for Bound for Glory. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Ken Shamrock is back. He's facing Moose. What's everyone's thoughts on that?
I was like, wait, he still wants to wrestle?
Yes, he's facing Moose.
Yeah, I was like, he's still wrestling? I thought he retired.
I thought he did too.
I don't know how exactly. See, I've missed the last month or so of Impact because I've been busy with stuff on Friday nights, and I'm sick of watching. I'm getting really tired of watching it on Twitch. So okay. I don't even know how this whole match came to be.
Basically, he called him out. He's been calling out all these legends and stuff like that, saying I'm a better wrestler, premier wrestler, blah blah blah.
Oh, so like Dolph Ziggler, except not stupid.
Basically.
So this is their version of Dolph Ziggler versus Goldberg?
It probably will go a lot longer, but in a nutshell, yes.
Only Moose is playing the Goldberg version with his no jackhammer needed spear.
Yeah, I still think that's a stupid name for a move.
I don't know. I like that.
Yeah.
It's basically saying screw you, Goldberg. My spear's better than yours. which I don't agree with, but it's still a great name for it.
Yeah.
Let's just all agree on one thing. At least Moose will not say it should have been me.
Oh, yeah.
That is absolutely true. And then we got King of Pro Wrestling coming up. Jon Moxley, we think, is going to drop the title with Juice Robinson. We got Sonata versus Okada. And what's the other match they played so far? Because King of Pro Wrestling is when they defend like all the titles, it seems. It's also one of the last stops where things could change. Do you guys see them somehow changing Kota Ibushi versus Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom? I just don't.
I can't speak intelligently on New Japan, so I'll let that slide.
So I don't really know. Like I think if it ever reached a point with Tetsuya Naito, they might do it.
Well, I mean, it sounds like the mentality for Wrestle Kingdom is they want to put both the IC and the Heavyweight Championship on one guy, one way or another.
Yeah, though, imagine if they finally decide to get Tetsuya Naito the chance to win at Wrestle Kingdom with the title on the line.
I could see that. I mean, Naito's always been the guy kind of like in the shadows, overlooked. So, I mean, I could definitely see that happening. Oh, yeah, the other match is the winner of the Super J Cup. El Fantasma versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. I'm just going to say that Ospreay retains.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling, their titles don't hot potato a lot. So when it does change, it means something significant. The most obvious change I can see happening here is Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson, unless they truly do Jon Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki at Wrestle Kingdom for that title.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Also, WWE reportedly has been concerned about AEW's relationship with AAA.
Why is that?
Because, and I'm not kidding, apparently Vince has never believed in the Latin market.
Wow, shocker. No wonder Andrade's been buried.
What relationship does AEW have with AAA?
They have a partnership because of, the Lucha Bros and some of their AEW talent. Yeah, and Cody Rhodes is actually, the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes have competed on Triple Mania.
Yes, they have.
Oh, right. Now that I remember that, yeah.
They
Well,
need-
I mean, Impact still has a relationship with AAA, being that Tessa Blanchard and Taya Valkyrie are fighting over their women's title.
And
Yeah,
they're
but Vince was like, okay, I think we need to be concerned now that AEW is buddy with AAA. I mean, like, I never believed in the Latin market, which is why Almas is not the champion yet, like, at all, but still.
Yeah, but
As long as AEW doesn't bring in Alberto Del Rio.
No, Alberto Del Rio's running his own promotion.
That's correct. Yeah.
For
I
him.
feel that's very good for him. So, yeah. The bottom line is this. As far as AEW goes, the titles I see, they said tag division, singles division, men's division, women's division. I don't think they got enough women to do a tag division, so there's always going to be just one women's title. I see them obviously got the men's tag. I see them having the AEW title. Do you see them having a mid-card title?
They already teased that.
An AEW television title would be fun.
That's the
Okay.
rumored title name.
I would go. That's very old school, and I like that too. That back when NWA was running things, they had. I think their first mid card title was the TV title, and that makes perfect sense. And Cody, that files perfectly in line with what Cody's trying to do.
And Ring of
Also,
Honor has the World
AJ.
has the World TV title, so there's that.
AJ.
Yeah.
What if I told you that the North American title was supposed to be the television title in NXT?
I would say here's a better name for it: the Network Championship.
That too, but
not so much now, being that given that NXT is going on cable now. But if
but originally here's. Oh, sorry.
I said now that it doesn't make sense now since they're going on cable, but back when it first started, the Network Championship would have been perfect for it.
I like that name a lot, but then again, I mean, you got Network Championship, the North American continent on the title. I don't know if it would actually like.
No, I mean, no, just put I don't know, put something else on the belt, not the North American continent. Just call it the Network Championship and put something else on the belt.
WWE logo.
Yeah, well, whatever. But now that it's a moot point now that they're going to cable with it.
Yeah, but like originally the North American title was supposed to be a television championship. They wanted to honor Dusty Rhodes. However, Vince came in, called them, and said, "Yeah, I hate TV titles, so no."
That's the thing. Being with NXT, I don't understand the need to have a mid-card title be called like a U.S. title or a North American. It's NXT. It's like it's supposed to be the developmental thing of the WWE. I don't know if you really need to go continental with it.
Yeah. I really don't think you need to do that either, personally. So
that's why I liked the idea at first. Like I was talking with some people, and being that they were on the WWE network, that calling it the Network Championship would have made more sense. But it is what it is now. Whatever.
Simple as that. So
but if AEW is going to have a mid-card title, the TV title would be the great way to go, because I mean that's pretty much what Ring of Honor is doing anyway, and that's kind of that's the route that Cody's going. He wants his wrestling to be more Ring of Honor like, as opposed to WWE like, from what I'm seeing.
I mean, I'm okay with that too. I just wish Ring of Honor had better ticket sales. Like I said, I enjoyed it at Summer Supercard, and they got their next second big pay-per-view coming up called Death Before Dishonor, and there's some good matches on there too. And then they got their biggest pay-per-view of the year coming up, Final Battle. So there you go.
And given that, then, Noah, what was your impression watching live of Hot Sauce Tracy Williams? Then, out of curiosity. He was in that TV title match with.
Yeah, I thought he had a stellar performance. I mean, it still surprises me he still wrestles with that brace on his shoulder. I don't even know if it's up yet, but the man can go. And there was one point he had a very good near fall, but I gotta be honest with you, I did not see the child changing hands that night.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that about that near fall. Tracy Williams, bar none, does the best near fall in his matches that I have ever seen, because even after he won. After he won the AIW championship last July, in every single one of his title defenses, he gave you the impression that he could potentially lose by making that near fall so believable.
And that's one of the strongest strengths a wrestler can do. Bring you into the near falls. That's why I didn't have a problem with all the falls in Walter versus Tyler Bate, because both men brought you into them every time.
Yeah.
The bottom line is this, gentlemen. October, the wrestling world is about to change forever, and it can only be for the better. I'm not going to be biased. I'm not going to take a side. I am going to be critical about stuff I see from everything I see because that's the way I am. But I'm excited overall for what's to come. And as far as my wrestling schedule, I'm still going to be watching both NXT and AEW. But the thing is, NXT allows me to watch it on the network the following day in full. So, of course, I'm going to watch AEW live.
That's my point too. I said if I get to watch it, if I can watch NXT on a replay the next day, that's what I'm going to end up doing. I like I don't have a whole lot of time, honestly, as far as to go back and watch things. That's why I make sure that I try to watch Raw and SmackDown and all the other stuff live, and that's why it kills me that that Impact is on this Twitch network or Twitch TV that glitches out every time I try to watch, because if I don't get to see it live, I'll probably not get to see it at all, because I just can't bring myself to go back and watch it. Whereas with NXT, if Thursday is available, there's no wrestling at all on Thursday, I'll go watch NXT then.
Also, big question. What have y'all been thinking about John Cena following everybody lately?
Oh God, that's funny. He doesn't follow me, but frankly, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm like, everybody, I follow you. We are all one. We are all Twitter. I'm like, why is this happening?
You know what it reminds me of? Years ago, Jose Bautista, when he was playing for the Toronto Blue Jays, just decided to go on a following spree. A bunch of my friends in real life here that I know apparently got followed by Jose Bautista, and they were like, they thought it was the coolest thing on the planet, because it's like, why is he doing this? And now that's what John Cena is reminding me of right now.
Yeah, even Courtney got followed by him.
And Courtney had her head blown, according to her tweets that she made. That was funny.
I don't know who it is, but I saw someone else.
She got Jay White and Killer Cross following her.
She probably passed out.
Incidentally, did you happen to see Killer Cross's what is that website? The Shout Out website that you can purchase for those?
Cameo, yeah.
Yeah,
Cameo.
did you see Killer Cross's Cameo that's been circulating? Holy smokes. He did like about a 10-minute long, my buddy showed me last night, a 10-minute long cameo video that Killer Cross did, I guess by someone.
Killer Cross, man, incredible promo, great in-ring worker, okay? Impact Wrestling's leading stars are Killer Cross and Rosemary, in my opinion. And then you got Brian Cage and Tessa Blanchard. As far as tag teams go, the Rascals are friggin' phenomenal. And the North.
I'm very partial to the North, being that I've seen them both live, like I stated before many times.
Right.
So, like, I'd love I'm gonna, whenever I see these wrestlers on TV, I have a lot of soft spots for, I have a lot of soft spots for the homegrown talent, and those that I've seen live.
That makes perfect sense, man.
That's why I have a soft spot for Michael Elgin too, because when I first started watching AIW, Michael Elgin was the AIW champion too.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll say this. Congrats to Impact Wrestling finally making it to the big leagues with a network that respects sports, Access TV. And also congrats to Melissa Santos and Brian Cage on the recent engagement. I think it's safe to say those two aren't going anywhere.
They're married now, though. That's the thing. I can't figure that out. They're actually married, so why did they just do an engagement angle? Everyone knows they're married. I wonder if they're planning on having Sami Callihan screw that up before Bound for Glory.
I mean, if you want to enlist some more heat, because Sami Callihan already got major heat to him, I guess that's the way you could do it, although I highly doubt Melissa Santos like a pile driver.
Maybe that's a way to build the angle to Bound for Glory. I don't know, but everyone and their cat knows that they're married now, because Melissa Santos came out and said it during Impact on Twitch a few weeks ago.
And Chris Van Vliet recently asked them about that during a freaking interview he had with Melissa Santos.
Yeah, I have no clue why they just came out and had an engagement thing last week. But
here's the thing: I think it might have something to do with how WWE treated Seth Rollins and Becky.
Oh yeah, that debacle. That was bad. I remember that.
So imagine if they go ahead and bring their engagement into storyline in WWE.
No thanks.
Pass. I'll just say that.
And here's the thing. Remember how Seth Rollins was saying, "You're all just jealous of me because I'm dating Becky Lynch," and I was like,
Really?
Your girlfriend even disagrees with how WWE used to you and her.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not. I don't support this. Oh, that's the other person I don't know who's gonna do with. It actually might be on Raw. Big Joseph and Tom Phillips. I forgot about that guy.
Oh.
They don't know what they're gonna
Oh! I think Eric Rowan's not gonna win that Clash of Champions more so.
do. Uh-oh. What?
You
what
want to know what he just said? Guess what? An article just came out on Fightful. Eric Rowan said that he would have liked to wrestle in Mexico more.
Oh, well, he's boned. He just boned himself. Yeah, Fox interested Renee Young, particularly with hosting the weekly FS1 WWE Studio show Tuesday nights. Okay, that's really interesting. Yeah, I'm just reading some more stuff here. All right, well, I think we about covered everything as far as Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, NWA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, WWE, NXT, 205 Live, Raw, SmackDown Live, pay-per-views, and of course, at our heart, AEW. Is there anything else anyone would like to add to this before we close?
I'll get back with you, Noah, next week with that promo code for if you're serious about checking out the AIW show. And I'd
gave me Britt Baker versus Mercedes Martinez. Yes, I'm dead serious.
Great. I'll want your feedback too after you watch it too. I'll be there live, front and center. It'll be fantastic.
All right.
Okay. And also, how did you all feel about the idea of Edge coming back to wrestle one more match that he said?
No thanks. Don't need to see him breaking his neck either.
Okay, look. I am not a medical profession, and I don't believe everything I read on WebMD. If the doctors, real doctors, truly say you are capable to do one more match, and they take a cautious approach to him, I'm for it. But this is blood money, this is Vince, and this is the same doctors that screwed over CM Punk.
And nearly got him killed.
Hell no, I do not want Edge back in the ring.
No. He's got a great life with Beth Phoenix right now. Let them do their thing. Let them live.
Yes, because we know Undertaker might not be for much longer. He signed a lifetime contract. You poor, poor soul.
That is sad. I'm almost aching to say that's almost worse than Ric Flair selling out his life for whatever money he can get.
I mean,
I wish to trademark the man.
Oh, give me a break. After all this time, you're doing that just now.
But here's the thing I found. If WWE comes out and publicly says that is a stupid idea to trademark the gimmick, the man, I will just say, Vince, you are trying to trademark a hand sign. You threatened the Young Bucks with a lawsuit with that.
Yeah, and that's why they haven't done the Too Sweet since then. Surprised they haven't gone after Bullet Club.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to trademark. He hasn't tried to trademark the 4 yet. The 4 hand signal.
That is true.
Take that away from the Horsemen.
Maybe Vince will. Also, Vince is trying to trademark the Boss and some other trademark stuff. So basically, he can make sure they don't go anywhere.
Yeah, because I guess Sasha Banks finally signed a long-term contract. We'll see how that goes.
So here's a question: when they trademark these things, does that mean nobody in the world can use them like that? Like, are they calling
I think they're just trying to say they have a
property?
legal precedent to say a copyright claim.
Exactly, so you avoid a lawsuit. Again, money!
Is it like the same thing as the WWF, World Wildlife Federation, trademarking that so nobody else can use that? So if Vince McMahon trademarks the Boss and all that stuff, does that mean nobody else in the world can call themselves the Boss?
I think so.
Otherwise, Vince is suing. Like, for instance, my manager can't come into my office and say, "Hey, I'm the boss."
Well, it's
Otherwise,
not like
Vince is going to sue him.
Well, it's not like he's watching all 300 million Americans and seeing if they say this in real life. He just probably
You don't know that. Remember, he has ties to Donald Trump.
That is true. But for commercial-based purposes, I think that's what this comes down to.
Oh, please. Donald Trump is too busy right now with coming up with ideas to blow up hurricanes with nuclear bombs, apparently.
And on that note, I think we're done here.
Yeah, actually, that's not true. Even I don't believe Trump actually is thinking that's a good idea. This is just from an outsider source.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying.
I know.
All right. Woo! Well, that was fun. Folks,
All right, so
And then
this
here, one last thing here is Monday is the wedding anniversary for Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. Be sure to give them a shout out.
Oh, definitely.
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So the best wrestling couple, in my opinion. And
Absolutely.
PWI can screw themselves. I think that's stupid.
No, they're the best. They seriously are the prototype or the blueprint for marriage goals.
Yeah, without a
Well,
doubt.
actually, some people might say, no, Triple H and Stephanie are the best couple. They run the company.
Oh, get out of here.
They got married before they even signed, so that's why I'm saying they're the best on the planet.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And the PWI list, I don't believe in that biased nonsense. Will Ospreay's a better wrestler than Seth Rollins. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Hey,
actually,
here's the
I
thing,
got
here's the
clued in.
thing.
I got clued in saying that some that wrestlers are known to actually buy spots in the PWI.
That's
Of
sad.
course.
That is sad, but I believe that 100%.
Let's be real. If the PWI was not biased or kayfabed, I honestly believe Johnny Gargano would be number one.
And he
considering
should
the year
be.
he had.
And he should be.
Adam
If
Cole
not
would be
him-
in number 3 at best.
If not
Tommaso
him,
Ciampa would be
Daniel
number 2.
Bryan. If not him, Daniel Bryan, just because of his incredible promo work and in-ring work. I mean, I still watch that promo he put on Kofi Kingston in that WWE Now interview before WrestleMania.
Is there ever a question why Johnny Gargano and Daniel Bryan are my top 2 wrestlers of all time?
I'm not going to question that at all.
And we need to have those two have a match before one of them retire.
Absolutely. That's a WrestleMania main event waiting to happen. All right. Well,
Anyway.
this has been fun. I guess we'll be back in, November before Full Gear or afterwards, depending on the date?
Yeah, I'll be busy with Full Gear since I'll be physically there.
Lucky, damn it, lucky.
And
And
at
I'll
that
get
point, we'll have an idea on the build to Survivor Series too, so we'll figure out what's going on with that.
and also just I get a commemorative chair.
Oh, you lucky.
Yeah,
I
you
want a
said
Twitter
that.
shot of that. And also, guys, don't forget, we got NXT War Games coming up that month, too. November is going to be loaded.
Yes.
In the meantime, I'll just keep begging out to Cody Rhodes on any possible social media to please book something here in Cleveland because I want to see AEW live.
And in the meantime, I'll be watching what I'm watching right now, which is all things wrestling. Right now, I'm going to go watch Super J Cup Day 2. Eric, AJ, a pleasure and a blast as always. Thank you for all that tune in. Like, share, subscribe,
And
comment,
will
tell
we
a friend.
see?
Follow us on Twitter. Are we the dumbest or the most passionate? You decide.
And we'll be seeing y'all next time in November, everyone. Good show, everyone.
Take care, folks.
Take care.
Bye-bye. See you, AJ.